And there we go. All right. Hello, everyone. And welcome to Live from the Knitting Wars on the Politically Incorrect Knitters channel. My name is Ann Pinkava, joined by Neil from Blocked Magazine, the lovely Liz Clothier, and hopefully Amy from Two Sisters and Some Yarns. Or yarn. Singular yarn. Multiple yarn? I forget.
I think just yarn.
I think it's yarn as in plural yarn.
But without
the yarn can be plural
without the S.
Or singular. Whatever you need it to be.
It's like sheep.
Yeah. Or geese. Well, no geese, but whatever.
So just for people who are watching, Anne has turned into a little tyrant now. She's got control of all the buttons.
Exactly. I'm in charge. The worst person to be in charge. Who did this? Somebody help us.
Yeah, we're now finding out why she hasn't been in charge for all these years. No, we're joking. Although she did tell us, smile!
And it's fine. She's got it all under control. We're just the guests, Neil. Come on.
Yeah. So, Liz, what are you working on? I can see that you're knitting something.
I am working on some of our lovely friend Tina's yarn. Gonna be a new cardigan. You can kind of see it's a.
Oh, is this one of your patterns? Are you designing a pattern?
Yeah, it is.
Lovely.
It's using her No Sleep Till Brooklyn, which is a neon, and her Unhinged, which we all know who that references and doesn't need to give any actual names. But yeah, so playing around with the neon, since neon seem to be the popular go-to right now. And it's colors I would never, ever, ever put together, but I thought,
looks good.
Why not?
So when you're designing, do you write it all out or plan it, or do you just start knitting and then make it up as you're going along?
Usually that, and then I have to it all out. Because then when I'm done, I want to move on to something else and not do all the writing. So now I have a cheat sheet that I put all my grading stuff in as I do it. So, and write down stitch patterns. So that way at the end, I can just type it up and not, because I tend to like to knit first. And sometimes what I have in my head won't work out when I start knitting. I have to keep changing, and then I don't like to write it down until I know it. But this one took like 14 times of starting till I finally got it the way I wanted it.
Wow.
So Nan knows. She does charts, which are even worse.
And what are you working on?
Perfect.
Here, one second. First off, I would like to say, hello to the chat, even all of the complainers about us being late.
Yes, Adam. We saw.
But... Anyways, that I have been in a little bit of a funk. First off, I have my one sock that I talked about and then didn't have to show at the end. So ta-da, it's there. It's really a sock, and the other one I have like that much. So
it's pretty yarn. What color? Which colorway is that? Is that your opal?
It is the opal, and it's. I thought I had the yarn band. Anyways, it's one of the Van Gogh ones. Anyways.
Very pretty.
It is. I like it. It makes me happy. But otherwise, how I said before that I only work on this random crocheted blanket when I have absolutely like nothing, like my brain can't do more. Well, it's doubled in size. So we're having a problem. But yeah, it's coming pretty well though. It's nice.
Cool.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
I think you've been changing with all the crochet blankets.
Yeah. And it's big too. Like
this is fingering weight?
Probably DK, I would say. It is some Lion brand Mandala.
Yeah, that's like a 4 DK, I would think.
Right. And it's the Centaur colorway, except I'm cutting out like 2 of the colors because I don't really like the gold. And then there's this sort of like weird fleshy tone. So I'm like, well, we don't need that. So I'm just.
Are you being racist, Dan? Whose flesh tone?
I'm so glad I'm not the only one that does that. Or I'll cut out a color if it doesn't match when I'm trying to continue the color pattern on the
Mhm.
stripe, or if it's a color I don't like. So, yay, I'm not the only one who does that. I'll save it for, other things maybe someday.
Yeah. No, definitely. And it's like, well, if I was making, little dolls or something, again, that flesh tone would be perfect. But like, I'm not, and it's weird. I don't, yeah. From an extremely pale person myself, I'm like, don't like that one. But uh yeah, and also in true me fashion. So I've been crocheting away on this like crazy because it's actually like because I don't crochet, I've said this before, but enough to make this. And it's very relaxing because it's something different and yet very repetitive. But yeah, it is like, I don't know, 7, 8 feet long. That's a lot of it.
Well, if you get bored,
That's
that will make a
that's
great
going to be the
scarf.
width or the length.
The width.
Wow, that's going to be big.
Yeah, because it's me. And after I was making fun of Tabitha for, I'm like, I only stick to one blanket at a time. Okay, I have this little tiny crochet cheater blanket. Okay, it's going to be a big cheater blanket because I don't know.
Well, to be fair, you complained that you should have made your Quinn's quilt bigger.
Yeah,
So this way you're making sure that doesn't happen for sure with this one because it's plenty wide.
exactly. That's the thing. Like, I don't like small blankets. I'm sorry. I am that person. And I'm probably not going to stop being that person. I'm just going to continue. And the other thing is, too, I'm like, oh, this is going to be, right now I can carry this project with me. In future, I won't be able to. But also, do I want to make little granny squares and then have to seam them together later? No. And that's
I made a
all.
blanket for my was 9 feet long.
Oof.
He's over 6 feet tall, and when he was driving in the truck, he would wrap it underneath his feet, and
Mhm.
it could still pull up because it got cold when he was the truck driver, in like
Right.
Colorado and Montana at night. So he needed a big blanket. So I totally get the oversized crochet blanket thing.
Yeah. Well, and I've said before that here I have a couple of them shoved around. With all the little intarsia chart things that I have my like levels of insanity when it comes to craft constipation. And it's like I can't work on anything. Okay, I'll do a simple project. Okay, I can't even do a simple project. I'll just do this crocheted blanket that is as simple could be. But when I am truly at like bankrupt bottom nothing, that is when I sew together all of my little intarsia scraps into a blanket. So we're not there yet. We're almost there, but we're not there yet. And I have to get back
Yeah,
together.
but that'll be so cool though when you do.
Yeah.
Are you keeping that one secret? Is no one allowed to see that?
Oh no, just I haven't done it yet. I had a
Oh, right.
previous blanket that I stitched them all onto, and like it's stitched together, but the ends aren't woven in at all. But the thing is that I've had it for so long that it's already getting to the point where it's weird and pilly, and I've washed it several times because I have even unfinished just thrown it on my bed. So I'm like, I'm not sure I should finish the edges. I think it's kind of how it is.
Well, if Stephen West can leave his ends out, you can too.
I guess so. But anyways, what are you working on, Neil?
Well, things have slowed down for me because of my injury. But
Yeah.
sorry, what's that?
No, just for those who don't know about your injury.
Yeah. So on Wednesday, so it'll be a week tomorrow. I was in the bathroom, washed my hands, and the towel was over the door. But when I didn't have it on a hanger properly, it was on the edge of the door, and I just lifted my hands up to dry my hands, and somehow I banged the door with this finger, and I didn't feel any pain. I just felt this weird kind of thunky feeling. I can't say how. And then I just looked at my hand and my finger was kind of hanging down, just
Oh,
wasn't doing anything. So I thought, shit, I think I've done something. I thought I'd dislocated it. So I thought I'm going to have to go to A&E, which is your ER. So I did. Luckily I went because they said if I'd have left it a couple of days, it could have I could have lost the movement in that finger permanently. But all that's happened, I had an X-ray. I've not broken the bone or anything. On the top of all your fingers here, you have a tendon, and it goes across the top, and it links the two bones there. And all that's I say all that's happened is the tendon has detached from the top bone, so there's nothing to keep that tip of my finger moving. So basically, there's nothing they can do other than putting it in this splint for 6 to 8 weeks and hope that it mends itself. Well, the problem is, I mean, I'm glad it's this finger because it's probably the finger I use the least. But you'd be surprised what you do with your ring finger. You know, it's like a stabilizing finger. So every time you pick up like knitting needles or scissors, you kind of use that finger to balance everything. So it's just been really awkward. I've been really lucky. I've had no pain apart from like a bit of a dull ache today and yesterday. Nothing bad. And it's starting to itch, which I think is probably a good sign. That's, to me, presume. But when do I've got a week tomorrow. I've got to go to the what are they called? I can't remember now. Orthopedic place. They're going to have a look at it. What they're going to do, no idea. But I immediately had to try crocheting and knitting because I thought I can't go 6 to 8 weeks without doing either. And I can do it, but it's just really slow. And the thing that I've noticed is my other fingers are hurting because I'm obviously doing something different with my hand that I don't normally do. So all the other muscles and whatever are doing something different. So yeah, so everything's slowed down, but I've still done stuff. I'll show you. I started working on this hat, but then I ran out of yarn. So it's a crocheted hat with a spiral.
Nice.
And
Nice.
and then this band here is just the same pattern but inside out. So the idea is this edge should be longer. So it's a bit like a fishing hat shape. Is that what you call them?
Okay.
Like
But if you turn, sorry, Liz.
a bucket hat.
Yeah, it's like a bucket hat. And if you turn it inside out, so it's reversible, it becomes, I'd say it's a little bit more female, but it's a bit more like a roaring 20s type hat. So I don't know whether, sorry, Anne, say that again.
Like a cloche.
Yes, that's the word. So you'll see when I put it on, it does need to be a bit longer, I think. Because at the moment, I don't know quite what it looks like. And if you pull it up, you get more of that kind of flat, because it's flat on the top. But obviously, when you pull it down, it just shapes to the shape of your head. But yeah, I don't know whether, I mean, I really like this crochet stitch. And I don't see many things made in it. So I don't know why that is. But I've been making another one as well. And this is the start of it. So at the moment, it's just a skull cap at the moment. But this is with Lynn's yarn. So this is I'm Hotter Than You by Chicken Lady Fiber Arts, which is a really cool colour. There's some kind of there's a yellow in it, I don't know whether it's like radioactive yellow or highlighter yellow, but it really works with that dark blue, and it's not dead obvious. So I've been working on that, and then to keep my knitting going, I'm just doing. I ordered one of these Noro. I forgot what it's called because it's on offer at the moment. It's the cotton silk wool blend, so it's quite soft. Whereas some of the Noro yarns are kind of a bit scratchy, I find, but this is really nice. And it's very, very fragile. You know, you pull it too hard and it breaks off, so it drives me insane. But I'm just making a. This is somebody else's pattern, but I've been working on mitered square pattern of my own, which will be in a future episode, a future issue of Blocked. But this is somebody else's pattern from 1950. I've not done much of it, but it's just mitered squares. And it will eventually be a sweater. And there's a story behind it which I will be writing about. I won't say too much about it at the moment, but if anybody knows, the person who designed it is a lady who's, well, she's been long dead now, but she's called Victoria. No, she's not. Virginia Bellamy Woods. And some of the people who know about her. Yeah, she was very famous in her day. Very famous knitter. back in the 50s, 40s, and 50s. And I've just been reading her book. I managed to get a copy of her book, and so I'm going to be writing a whole thing about it. And I'm just doing a bit of a test knit from her book because it's and it's cool actually. It's quite. She was such a clever woman. But anyway, I'm waffling, and I'm only giving you a tiny bit of the information, so it's a bit of a pointless thing to talk about, really. But that's about it at the moment.
I love it. I
No,
love
it's
the colors
interesting.
how they fade in together and everything.
I love
Yeah.
learning history about it too. It's interesting.
Ah,
You know,
okay.
because
Well,
because a lot of it we don't know. I mean, we don't know a lot unless these women posted books or things like that, or were in a lot of magazines. We don't know much about previous designers, so it's always fun.
Well, I can
to
tell
learn.
you a little bit about her. Actually, I will. I don't think I'll be giving too much away, but she wrote a book called Number Knitting, and there, as far as people are aware, there's only about 5 of them out in circulation to buy, but they're so rare that they're about $400 to $600, and they're going up all the time. There are a few in some libraries. There's one in the UK, and there's various amounts of them across the USA, but they're quite hard. You can't borrow them. You know, you would have to go in and use them as a reference book, and you could try and get them to copy them for you, but it would cost you about $600 to get the book photocopied. But there's a lady called Kelly, and she has a podcast called Knit Swag.
Right. Okay.
And
That's where I've heard about it from.
Yeah, and she's doing this sort of really cool project to do with this book, and I'm kind of following her at the moment, and I'm going to write about it and talk about what she's doing, plus what Virginia Bellamy Woods did, and because it's really strange, because at the time in the 40s and 50s, she was kind of like the, I mean, she was probably like the Stephen West of her day, you know, probably better than that, actually, probably bigger than that. She was pretty famous, and there was a Japanese article thing that we found. I found it through her site, but I read through it all, and she was listed as like one of the 6 most influential American designers of all time.
Wow.
And it's like really interesting that nobody seems to know who she is now, apart from, you know, a small group of knitters. And I mean, I tell you where she was mentioned. Roxanne Richardson mentioned the book a few years ago. So people are probably aware in the back of their minds about this, but because it's very difficult to get a copy of the book, it's kind of almost lost. But this lady called Kelly, I can't remember her last name for the life of me at the moment, but she's been working on this for a few years now, and I think at some point she's going to get this book republished.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
and it'll be cool if she does.
Wow.
Yeah. It's very. I mean, the thing is, when you look at it, people will look at the patterns and think, ooh, you know, because they're of their day. You know what I mean? They're not. So they're very adaptable. You know, because I'm adapting this particular one that I'm knitting slightly. So they're very. You have to remember, it's very 50s. You know, so some of it isn't necessarily going to be something you could wear today, but the techniques that she uses are things that have been incorporated into a lot of other knitters' work already, and it's all based on 7 shapes. So everything that's in the book is only based on 7 shapes, and the mitered square is probably the most used one. And there's reasons for that, and she gives mathematical reasons why the mitered square is so special. You know, and it kind of is. It's kind of like a knitted mitered square. You'll be surprised at the properties that has over any other kind of knitted shape. So anyway, sorry, I'm boring myself now. You know, when you just go off on one, you're like, yeah. I'm doing the Peanuts teacher again, like I was last time.
I just can't do the math, but I can appreciate.
You can. If you can design, Liz, you can do math.
Here, say again what the name of the book and the lady was before.
Oh, it's called Number Knitting, and the lady's name is Virginia Woods. It's either Virginia Bellamy Woods or Virginia Woods Bellamy. I can't remember which way. Right, I think it's Woods Bellamy. Yeah, so number knitting. It's not, somebody in the comments is saying knitting by the numbers. It's not that, it's number knitting. But, oh, and if you go looking, there are two versions of this, PDF versions. Now, this is where one of them, I think, is $32 or $42, and the other one is about $75. Now, the thing is, don't be fooled. The one that's cheaper, which is available via Amazon, doesn't have very good quality of scans, and the images are pretty much non-existent. So the photographs don't show up at all. If you're gonna get a copy of it, unfortunately you need to get the expensive version. However, what I would say to people is go and watch Knit Swag on on YouTube, because there are ways that she gives you options where you can get the book cheaper. At least she does at the moment. It might not be something that I think if you, I don't want to say exactly because I might have got it wrong, but if you knit so many examples from the book, or if you promise to knit so many examples, she will give you the PDF for a lot cheaper than it is at the moment. And I think the reason why it's so expensive, because when I first found out about it, I thought, wow, is she ripping people off? This is a lot, for a PDF. But I think initially she must have bought her copy for about $600 because she's got a really good copy of the book. But what she's done a lot of work on the PDF that she's had scanned. So there's color things in there. There's I don't really understand it much, but there are not interactive, but there are notes and things in the PDF that she's made. Plus, there are 75 or 74 patterns in the book, and I think what her reasoning is that it's £1 per pattern. Sorry, not £1, $1 per pattern. But like I say, she is doing it cheaper for people who are willing to, sort of contribute to the project by knitting something. And then I think the idea is that you then show it, so it's worth looking at. Don't expect, patterns that you're going to want to immediately run out and knit. It's one of those books where it's information more than style. So when you're reading it, there's so much in it that a lot of things that I feel have not necessarily been lost, but we just don't know. One, we don't know why we do them. So certain knitting techniques that we do, we think, why do we do that? But there are reasons behind it. And she actually had a patent. She actually got her way of knitting patented, which I think is one of the only times a hand knitting idea got through the patent office, which has now run out. The patent has expired now, which is why Kelly can do the work she's doing.
Here.
But anyway, yeah.
Not
Sorry.
to interrupt you, Neil, but Amy is here.
Yay!
Yay.
Smile.
Where's Ames?
Hey, you've just saved everyone from being bored to tears, Amy.
No, I have a thing about losing knowledge and like that, and so no, I find that fascinating.
So how's Amy?
Just so you know.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I know I'm dark, but oh well.
What time is it there then?
It is
it looks
5:03, and I just got home. No, it's just about the bad camera on the MacBook. And I just got home from work, so and I
It's
forgot
11
to grab the
p.m.
fancy
here.
light camera. Oh man.
I liked seeing your latest episode, Ames.
Oh, when was that released? Today?
No, last week, I think, right?
Oh, I think I've watched.
Or maybe before that.
Was it?
Yeah, it was
Oh. You didn't make Denise lose it this time.
I know, I'm slacking. Is my sound okay, or do I need to take this out?
It's a little bit crackly.
Okay. I tried the old-fashioned ones, but they don't plug into my MacBook. Stupid Bluetooth. All right, let me take it out.
Oh, Liz. So you recently finished your well, you've done several of the Murder Knits cardigans, but you had one to show off, which you showed us before.
Would you like to see it again?
I would like to see it again. It's so cool.
We need to
Oh,
stop
thank you.
doing the chats at the beginning, don't we? Because we forget that
I
everyone else
forgot we
hasn't
weren't
seen
online,
everything.
and I'm like, I could have talked. We could have said other things, but I was trying to be careful because I thought we were already broadcasting. So here is my most recent one, and it's got a belt that's falling down because I don't have belt loops on it yet. But and I only put one pocket because I only ever use one pocket. So Chicken Lady, who is Anne's one of her sponsors in her blood splatter colorway, that she dyed for Tabitha of Murder Knits. So if you're thinking of knitting anything or joining the Summer of Murder, knitting blood splatter is a good colorway to choose, and Lynn will dye it up for you. In fact, I got some Two Sisters yarn today that I forgot. So Amy has some, I'm sure, though. Yeah. Summer of Murder starts June 1st. So.
How much murder is going on?
Yep.
Oh, that looks terrible because of the lighting.
Okay. If you get closer, it brightens up.
So it's purple. Oh, purple and teal.
Harrison, hold bring my laptop bag.
Ah, that's nice. I like that.
It's pretty.
I also got a box of yarn from Chicken Lady today. It's very exciting.
Ooh, what'd you get?
Well, it's funny because Neil and I were talking, and it seems that we accidentally bought the same thing. Not accidentally. Both of us wanted the same thing, but it was really funny how at the same time we're like, yeah, we're going to buy now. So
and we got a photo. Lynn sent us a photo of the yarns being made, and they were all together. So we have. Well, mine hasn't arrived yet, though. So we have sibling yarns, don't we, Anne?
That's right.
Oh, that's sweet.
But yeah, I got here. Let me pull one of the band off. I got 3 skeins of the Ripaverse yarn.
Yeah.
Nice. I wondered when you were gonna start playing with that.
Oh yeah, because I have this cool shawl idea, which Neil and I will conspire about later because I'm not quite finished on it. But yeah, I got these. Yeah, and the next ISOM book is coming out next month, so that will be timely. I got some black yarn to go with it.
Oh, so you got Blackety Black as well?
Yeah.
No way! I didn't realize you'd ordered that too.
No. And
Amy, are we missing out?
What?
Are we missing out? We didn't get ISOM and black.
Sorry, I didn't get the ISOM color at all. I'm sorry. It just wasn't my jam.
Not this time. I've just got more blood splatter from her the other day, so.
The blood splatter is pretty. But I also got the meh colorway, which is also funny because, again, Neil and I were both like, yeah, that's awesome. With the bright yellow and there's like little flecks of blue. It's very goldfinchy.
I do like that.
Which color is that?
Meh.
Meh. M-A-H.
Okay.
Meh. But it's a little bit Yara coloured as well.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So if there was get a separate blue, I think we'd have the Yara colour there. But when I saw she posted that particular meh colour, I thought I have to have that. I don't know why, but I love really sort of citrus yellow. You know that not lemon, but that colour. Hold it up again.
Right. No, there is something that is very superhero-y about it. That's very striking.
Yeah.
I love it. And
it's Tweety Bird yellow.
Yeah. I like yellow and gray, period. So.
Oh, yeah. Adam's just said Blackety Black, no Les Dawson, I take it. Yeah, Blackety Black. I don't know whether you had the same show. We used to have a show called Blankety Black. Blankety Blank. I think you had the same show, but I think it was called something else. So it'd be where you had a saying and they would leave a gap and they would say, I don't know, a blank is worth 2 in the bush, you know, that kind of thing. And then, so, sorry, Anne, go on.
Oh, that's okay. But yeah, the Blackety Black and this, and I also got a couple skeins of plain because I've had a sweater idea for a while, and I got 3 one-of-a-kind skeins from Lynn before, and I'm like, you can't make a full sweater just out of 3 skeins. Sorry, I'm not that petite. So it's like I
hear you.
Gripe with it. So.
There you go.
This is why I don't knit many sweaters ever.
No, it's why many of my designs, aside from the fact I live in the desert where it's hot, are sport or fingering weight because you have to buy fewer skeins of yarn when you're a larger person. So,
But yeah.
Yeah, so we've got to get designing, haven't we, Anne? Because we need to come up with something. We've both got ideas. We've both got a shawl idea, haven't we? And mine's going to be the Yara colours, though. But I think I'm going to do an Isom something, but I'm not quite sure what yet.
Yeah, I
don't know.
I have an update to the idea I sent you before, so we'll
cool.
conspire.
It's not an addenda. We call that an addenda.
Ooh, very official.
In the construction world, it's an addenda.
And we have another knit along announcement, which is big that we can talk about. So we're not just all hush hush and pretending as if we have something clever.
We're allowed to talk about it now?
Almost. Yeah. But no, I just wanted to say, Amy, what are you working on before we did that?
Yeah, everyone's going to cut off now, aren't we? Shall we go off now? Yeah, bye.
Just a hat. What I had handy. It fits the whole fam hat.
Is that Cozy Knits?
Yeah, Cozy Up Knits.
Cozy Up Knits.
What's their name? Yeah, it's just the 3 colors of fingering together and random. When I run out of stuff, I just throw them in there and start another one.
Well, I still need to have a go at that pattern that you talked about. Yeah, so I did see your last episode because you talked about that pattern, didn't you? So, because I'm going to have a go at it. The what's the hat called again? I've forgotten what it's called.
This one?
No, do you remember the pattern that you tried? You gave up on, didn't you?
Lasagna. The lasagna.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would it work with variegated yarn?
Yeah. It's just she made another one.
I can see how Anne's thinking. Yeah.
I forget what it's called. It's like Udu or something weird. It's got a weird name, and it has less crosses. So maybe that would be easier. But my brain just.
It might just be the way it's written out. You might just, if somebody rewrote it out in a different way, it might make more sense.
Maybe.
Well, when you were describing it, she has the woman. It's a woman designer, isn't it? She has a way of describing that one because it's a 1/1 twist, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a twist, and because it goes, some go this way and some go this way, and you're working up. Your count is important.
Right.
And I'm not.
I think it's the way she does those twists because you can do those about 3 different ways, can't you?
I think
I think that is the issue with that.
And no offense to her pattern, I just think there's an easier way to write it for dummies.
Yeah. And it needed an Amy one. And
remedial level.
And can I show this? Because I forgot about it before. But it is coming out probably next week or the week after. It is the Murder Knits hat.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That
pom-pom is everything.
I know, isn't it? It's perfect. It's a little big, but the hat, the way I have it, it's not very slouchy, but there'll be instructions to make it more slouchy. I just got tired of knitting on this one and wanted to finish it, so. But 1 skein of DK or worsted, and you'll have plenty of leftovers, so. If anyone wants to knit that and not the cardigan, that'll be out too sometime during the summer.
But that is a pretty colorway too.
It is, and it's not my usual, but I really like it. So
those pom poms just remind me of. Do you remember those gonks? We used to call them gonks. They were like little trolls.
Oh, trolls.
Troll dolls.
Yeah.
Troll dolls.
Yeah, we called them gonks. Gonk. I don't know why. I think we called them gonks. Yeah. Did you watch? I've forgotten the name. Mystery Mouse. Have you watched her episode this week?
Not this week.
She was talking about the Wombles. And I don't know whether you guys know of the Wombles, but that was a kids' TV show here, which I loved. Absolutely used to love it. So when she was talking about it, and like Wombles. From an American point of view, it's probably like, quite weird. But Yeah, there's everyone in the comments now who's British. They're all saying about Wombles, Wimbledon Common. Yeah, because the Wombles lived on Wimbledon Common, and they're like these little creatures. And they used to tidy up and clean up long before all the, recycling nonsense came around. And it was just a really, really sweet little show.
So
And
it sounds to me like you were watching a show about slavery.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
I think you need to work on that. Your discomfort.
Well, I
They
can.
probably weren't as cool as the Fraggles, though. We had little Fraggles, and they did cleaning and stuff. But
Oh, Fraggle Rock. Was it Fraggle Rock?
Yeah,
yes,
Fraggle Rock.
yes, but they clean out the streets and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it was. I bet they were based on each other. I think the Wombles was the 70s, though. Was Fraggle Rock the 80s?
I think so.
Late 70s, early 80s. Yeah, I think. By the way, Neil.
Yeah, because my sister was little.
I spoke to Birdie this week about an order I did with her, and I reminded her to get practicing on her knitting. So you need to check with Birdie.
Yes, I do. I do.
And help her.
Keep harassing me to do it, because what I've got my other phone now, because what I've been trying to do is work out how to have two cameras, so that I can show my hands as I'm doing it. So yeah, because I was thinking, I don't know whether she'll want to do it, but I'm thinking I'm wondering whether to do it live.
Right.
Is that a bit cruel?
Probably.
That means I'm going to do it then.
Well, last time when she was on Knitting Wars and we were teaching her to knit, we were trying, man. But I think difficult when you're live. To understand and talk to other people and crazy.
Okay, which style should I teach her? So, do I teach her English? Do I teach her Continental, Portuguese, Norwegian?
I do Continental,
Eastern European.
Continental.
So, should I teach her Continental?
Purling. But
sorry, what's that, Liz? Say that again.
I do Continental with Norwegian purling because
right.
That makes the most sense for me.
Yeah, I can knit Continental, but I can't purl Continental, so I would have to do the Norwegian purl as well, because I quite like that, even though it's kind of strange.
I do it, but not like right now. If it's knit purl, I'm just doing regular knit Continental. I don't only do Norwegian usually when it's like ribbing because it makes it tighter.
Ah.
And when's our crochet smackdown? Excuse me. I feel unrepresented.
You just want to beat Tabitha.
I really do.
Yeah,
you think you're the Tabitha of crochet, don't you?
I'm pretty damn fast.
I've been practicing because at some point I might have to do it in speed, so I want to be ready.
I'm pretty fast crocheter, so we have to lay out some terms.
Can I be exempt
those baby
until?
Blankets,
huh?
No, that you are really whipping.
To wait till he'll
baby blankets, so.
Yeah, Neil has to heal.
Yeah, so that's going to be 6 to 8 weeks before I'll be up to speed.
Well, I get practicing.
I mean, I'll have a go. I'll play along while we do it.
Oh, the 6 weeks.
Do we know? Do we know
practice.
if he really hurt himself, or is he just saying that so he can get all this secret practice on the crocheting?
I have photos of the injury, so I can share them if you want to see them.
I know. Am I allowed to tease you because you're a protected class? Maybe I shouldn't be teasing you.
That's true.
Well, actually, all three of you needed to ask permission. One thing Anne didn't do, she didn't ask whether it was okay to bring two white women into this chat.
True.
Well, I am offended that you assumed both my gender and my race. I am clearly a Portuguese man. So
I am so sorry I did that. I will do better. And
work, Neil.
So
yes.
What's your announcement?
I've said this before, but this just okay with the identifying as whatever. But okay, have you seen Big Butt Barbie? Like, okay.
Wait, what?
Yes, I have. It's
No,
yeah.
Okay, so you have the kids aisle and you're like, woohoo, what's new in Barbie technology? And you look, and then there's Barbie with the really big thighs. And first off, I'm like, A, do I look like that? Because she don't look good. And secondly, like, how depressing. I can't find clothes for me. No, I can't find clothes for my Barbie either. This is miserable. And also, the thing is that, okay, like, woohoo Barbie and everything, but I want to be Asian airline pilot Barbie. I will never be Asian airline pilot Barbie, okay? I will never be that cool. I will never be that pretty. I've understood this about myself. That's fine. Why do I want to be fat chick Barbie? Terrible.
Yeah, fat chick Barbie's not my favorite, though. To be fair, I am very happy they have Down syndrome Barbie, because it's like one of the first companies that has a doll that has Down syndrome.
I saw
and
that.
I think
but
that
they sure did try
that
to
is
pretty
kind
it
of
up. It's not
baby
exactly
steps.
yeah, it's
Baby
not
steps.
the best.
You know,
No. Okay.
the thought's fair.
You know, it's nice. The advances, and Neil, you should appreciate this, but the advances in technology in Black girl hair and Barbies is so cool. You can get braids, you can get,
That is-
you know, more of a fro, you can get small curls, medium curls. And I'm like, again, I was buying a gift for somebody, so I was in the Barbie section. I'm like, what? Before it would be just, you know, like regular.
What about
Barbie.
Ken?
Yeah, what about the
Great
Ken
black hair.
diversity?
Yeah.
Why
Is
does
there
nobody care about Ken?
I read an article about that
Where's
not too
fat
long ago.
ass Ken?
Ken
Beard
was
gut
never
Ken.
intended. Ken was never intended to marry Barbie as a feminist who did not need a man. Ken was created to be arm candy.
Was he the gay best friend?
No, he was just
That
supposed to be
is
the dumb
why
guy. The dumb
my
the
Barbie's always hooked up with G.I. Joe. I'm just
G.I.
saying.
Joe, exactly.
I had
My
like,
brother stopped playing with his G.I. Joes when my sister and I took him over, because G.I. Joe had a beard and a really cool Jeep.
yeah, he did.
And
Is G.I. Joe the
So
equivalent of the British Action Man? Is
I
that
don't
the
know.
same thing?
He's a
Does he have
soldier.
like very short fuzzy hair?
Well, plastic, but yeah.
All right. Oh no, it's different then. It's different.
No,
I mean,
No, my brother
no,
G.I.
G.I.
Joe's had the
Joe
fuzzy
was
beard and stuff.
definitely military.
Yeah, he was definitely military.
Yeah. He had a cool Jeep and he had a beard and he was a real man. And the Ken doll I had was Disco Ken, who came in the purple jumpsuit. And
I had
he
two
couldn't stand up
Kens
to G.I. Joe.
and like 9 Barbies, so there was a lot of wife swapping going around.
Yeah,
And
Sister
and
wives.
the sex
was-
balance in Barbie world was always
yeah.
So
Often he was gay. I made him gay, and he was the gay best friend to cover, but he pretended to not be gay, you know, because that was what he did. So she was the beard. I had a very, you know, dramatic Jerry Springer-ish Barbie. You know, you shove clothes up her dress so she looked pregnant, and then she'd have a baby.
And she
That's-
didn't know
My
who the
sister
father
got
was.
mad. My sister got, well, yeah, there's only Ken. My sister got mad because she cut her Barbie's hair.
Oh,
So Barbie, she had one of the early punk Barbies.
Oh,
fatal mistake.
Have you ever seen those Instagram things? They kind of like draw you in because they're fascinating. Where someone takes like a doll's head, pulls all the hair out, wipes all the, you know, with is it that nail varnish remover?
Yeah.
Wipes all the paint off,
yeah.
and then completely redoes it all and turns it into Lady Gaga Barbie or whatever. They're really quite cool.
I've
You know,
seen
some of them are brilliant.
There's just a couple people, they take the Bratz dolls and the ones that are kind of hosed,
Creepy.
and they clean them all up and make them look like ladies, like
Ah.
classy dolls.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Yeah, my
not
daughter
it.
was old. She was not the Bratz generation. She was a little bit older, so she was still Barbie before the Bratz dolls really took
Yeah.
over. I was very, very grateful for that. Not that she
When
played with
was-
many dolls.
When was Cabbage Patch?
when I was a kid.
80s. 80s.
I'm showing my age now, aren't I?
A secondhand Cabbage Patch because we was Poe and my mom was not going to fight people.
Too. My aunt made it because my parents wouldn't pay for a real one.
Here, 1 second. That is hilarious.
Oh my god, that has just
Pregnant
reminded me
Barbie.
of that awful.
I don't remember pregnant Barbie.
I don't.
You know why? She wasn't Poe.
Maybe
Somebody sent me a really, really horrible clip, and it was from some, I don't know what it was,
no.
but it was the butt baby.
Oh
And
no,
so,
no.
and that, what you just described in that was
We're not
exactly
talking about
what.
that again.
You've
People be
already
having
gone-
too much time.
Yeah, no.
That's all I'm gonna say. You know, people are.
I will say I described that to my husband, and he was traumatized. So
I won't tell you the second bit, but yeah, I was traumatized
Much
because
trauma.
there was a second bit to it. It's like,
I'm gonna
where the
sit my
hell?
ignorance here, and
So
be
Anne,
happy
wasn't there
with that.
something you were trying to tell us earlier?
Yes, I had a big announcement.
No more butt babies.
Yeah, we're doing a butt baby knit along.
Please stop.
Oh, before we go on, did anyone see the Stephen West thing with his house in Amsterdam
Yes, that was a great.
on
that
the
was
wall?
With his butt on the wall.
But I can't remember who it was. Somebody
I
posted
know
one
he
of
was such a fan of the Jolly Green Giant. I mean,
yeah. Was it a green butt?
it was like a little rug
the
of a
Hulk.
man butt, and it was green, and
It
it was
was the
art.
spreadingness that was a little bit too much.
Art is in the eye of the beholder. That's all you can do. Okay.
Wait, what?
That's all you can say. Art is
Yeah,
in the eye
yeah.
of the beholder. So you know what some
I thought you
people
said
want
you
to
were
put
a
on their
double
wall.
holder.
We're not two-fisted anything here.
I'm not going to tell you what I just had in my head then. Anyway, Liz,
See, good thing
Anne,
Kay's
go on.
not here because she would be losing it about now. Mention of the butt baby would have just sent her off.
Yeah. No.
Should have
It's a
chucked me off.
family show, Neil. Come on.
Okay.
Really? All of a sudden now we have values here now.
No,
Well,
just
you
it
never
just
told me
reminded
this
me that
2 years ago when I met you all.
no,
Feels like hold up,
it
that
just
wasn't in my
somebody
contract.
not
no,
my
just
right.
it just reminded me that people who are in our other chat who watch sometimes. You know.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Anyway,
Anne.
Yes. I know, cleared the air. Okay, so we have been hinting at a big and exciting knit along that I'm very excited about. I've planned a lot of this. This could be a catastrophe. It's going to be so cool, though. If it goes down in flames, like they're going to be glorious flames. I'm so into this. Anyways, we are.
Okay. I'm just worrying how a knit along went down in flames, but okay.
Sorry, Amy and Neil know, but Liz doesn't, so she can react
Okay.
along with y'all.
Okay.
But we are doing a knit along for Shark Week, July 11th to July 18th. The challenge is that you have to start something in a week, but if you don't finish it in a week, you have to pull it out because the shark got you. You have to rip out your knitting. You have to start all over if you even want to start all over at that
On camera.
on camera. Because there's going to be a grand prize winner chosen out of all the people who complete, but everyone is a winner, which is fantastic. So everyone, you have to write in to politically incorrect knitters. Don't do it now. Wait for July, people. Hang on. They have to write into our email, which is politicallyincorrectknitters@gmail.com. Give me your name and your address and whatever social media things you'll be posting this stuff on. But everybody, we're sending out a envelope full of stickers with all of our podcasts on it. So far people participating. So us, of course, politically incorrect knitters. So Neil is part of it. Two Sisters and Some Yarn. We also have Sweet Mountain Crafts. Cheryl from Wise Owl Knits is a new podcaster. Tabitha Murder Knits.
Naughty Nitwits, I think.
Yes, Naughty Knitwits are in, which is
Well,
exciting.
Oh,
Yeah.
Then I should probably mention that something when you're done. Go ahead.
Okay. But
yeah, if you're gonna do the thing, then
Right. I know that I'm missing a couple of people, but anyways, so a lot of people, lots of stickers, everyone's a winner. But the only thing that'll disqualify you from the stickers is that if you don't finish in the week and you don't pull it out, because you don't be that guy. Gotta play along. Gotta play to win. But we're going to oh, and also if you do a pair of socks for your challenge and you only do and you only finish one, that one has to go too. You can't be playing. But yeah,
Told you, she's got a bit of power and she's gone evil.
exactly.
She's gone rogue, people. She's gone rogue.
Exactly. I've gone rogue. I'm a megalomaniac now. But yeah, you get extra entries for making something that's shark themed, doing shark related yarn. Lynn and Tina has a colorway. There is a bag that is coming up from Delightful Works is her name. Susan from Delightful Works. She showed me a picture of the bag today. It's very exciting. So if your knitting bag matches, that counts as an extra entry.
Denise has got it made.
Exactly.
It's made for
all good. But yeah, I would say blood splatter would definitely count as a Shark Week yarn.
Oh yeah,
it's cool.
Okay.
It works.
Adam's on form today. So first one is put Anne Perron. As if you're Evita, and then a bit further up, can you see that one he sent at 11:29? I think that needs to go on the screen.
They have some questions too about what counts. So
okay,
we're gonna need
a bigger boat.
Yeah, but yeah, we're
my favorite second favorite movie.
Yeah,
is Jaws.
What if we're working on the project with shark theme yarn, with a shark themed project bag, and we're watching a shark show?
That all counts extras.
Yep.
All of them count.
2 points.
Exactly. Yes, because it's also going to be just like the Summer of Murder, which you can do at the same time. I'm sure murders and sharks go well together.
I was going to say, if it's a shark show where somebody gets killed, does that count as true crime for Summer of Murder? Like, have you?
Well, we could have a little
for this
about if a shark is really considered murder if they kill somebody, or if it's some sort of instinct. Is that murder? I don't care.
If the shark kills the person, but still a crime.
But what if somebody's dumped? What if somebody's dumped by someone else so the shark can kill them?
But otherwise, you know.
I feel like this is a documentary I need to see.
I know. I'll go look one up. No, there's bound to be one.
All right, so they want to know, do cutting in heels and toes count
for
Shark Week? I guess she means like,
that if you just have a sock tube and you just put it in. No.
You have to declare beforehand.
You have to declare what you're making, and you have to start and finish it in a week.
But we can pre-wind, correct? Because I already did that.
Sure, you can pre-wind.
You can't cast on.
So
there's a time and a date to cast on.
Okay.
Right. And
can they be shorty socks? Morgan says.
If in your realm of knitting, like shorty socks are a challenge, because it is a challenge. But again,
if you're Tabitha and you can knit, a whole bedspread in a week.
That was my clarification. Was if you work full time like me and you could only knit at night, I'm not knitting a sweater. But a pair of socks in a week would be a challenge for me, whether DK, whether shorty, whether regular. If you got little kids and the only time you can knit is when they're napping, well,
I would say look at what you can currently knit in a week that with your circumstances, but then just add a little bit of something to make it a tiny bit more difficult. So either a certain pattern or make your shorty socks a bit longer. Just stretch it.
Now I have to think.
The problem with the murder knits, the problem with the murder knit shawl is that you have to be like, I'm using 2 skeins. Like you can't be like, well, I'm finished.
Right.
Because that just kind of goes on until you do. You got to kind of.
And with an injury, do we get any? Is it strange that this injury has only just happened after the Shark Week announcement?
Allegedly that you're hurt.
Right, I'm going to send you all the photos later.
Allegedly. See, I was maybe going to do a murder knit shawl, but I only have one skein of the color that I want to use. So I'm either going to have to make it more complicated.
I mean, if you
You know.
declare one skein shawl is your thing, then yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, but you can't just say stopping whenever.
Yeah, I get you.
No, but if you do a murder knit shawl, but you change it, does that count? If it's one skein?
That's
okay.
The project.
Yeah, like she's saying, like if on day one, before I say I'm knitting this shawl out of this whole skein, this is all I have of this yarn. So my goal is to use up every bit of this, and that's my project. She's saying you can't be knitting along and then be like, whoop, it's the end, I'm done.
Oh, no, of course not. You have to show the weight and all.
Right.
I'm sure there's going to be lots of people cheating, but we have a way of dealing with those people.
I figure, if y'all cheat, it's on you, but whatever. Everyone gets stickers. We're going to have a great time. We're going to have live streams during this week. And also, if you enter, again, sending me your information so I can send you stuff. That's all very important. There's also going to be a Telegram group for Shark Week that I send back, and a Zoom call, not a recorded one like this, but like a private, just us hangout Zoom call sometime during the week that we'll figure out when we get closer to that.
Adam said, for purposes of equity, each one of you needs to break a finger. I'm up for that.
Rather like Mr. Bond in Live or Let Die, the book version.
Oh,
wow, Neil wants us all to hurt ourselves. That's kind of mean.
Also, Live or Let Die, the novel, also counts for Shark Week.
Denise is all excited. I'm like, that's because she's like hardcore. She'll just rip that crap out. She just, if she's done, she's done. And me, I'm like, no, I do.
A top tip though is choose a yarn that you can rip out. Don't go for some kind of mohair. Yeah. Because that is going to be heartbreaking. Because at least you'll be able to re-knit it after, won't you?
Yeah, that was.
So this is July, right? That's when Shark Week is.
Yeah. Somebody else, what was the dates again?
Yeah, it's July 11th through the 18th.
So like the second week of July.
This is a little bit out, but also we're kind of saying it and getting it together. So you can figure out what you want. But like I said, Lynn and Tina, like I said, they're getting yarns together. So whenever that's out, that's out.
Right. So people need time to get it.
Right. So if you want to get the special, or like I said, Susan of Delightful Works with their shark bags, I don't think they're out yet, but this is just saying they're coming,
Well, and I'll put everything in the magazine with all the rules, and we'll have like a frequently asked questions bit as well to answer the things like socks and shorty socks or whatever. So everything will be there, like the email address as well that you need to email Anne. Yeah. It's all on Anne.
I know it's a
Very
lot.
excited.
Like I said, it could all go down in flames, but hey, man, it's Shark Week. Like, you need a little chaos, a little disaster. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
Maybe I'll
Jason
watch
Momoa is hosting Shark Week. He needs someone good to look at. He's hosting Shark.
Oh,
who is that?
Jason Momoa.
Oh, okay. Now
Or there
I
will be
had
scenes
heard
of him
it was
without a shirt. So just saying, if that's incentive to anybody.
But yeah. Anyways,
Now I got to find a shark thing back. Catch up to Denise.
I don't know if she actually has a shark bag, but I'm fond of.
I bet she will get one though.
Oh, Anne, BS has mentioned a couple of times that she's willing to give some prizes.
Oh, sure. That'd be excellent. Thank you.
Yes, I have plenty to share.
Right.
Yeah, and I'll give some vouchers as well.
Cool.
Yeah, the way this is going, everyone who partakes will end up with something, I think, won't they? Yeah.
Well,
we don't get to stickers unless we finish, right? Because it's two different stickers, right?
Oh no. Okay. Even if you don't finish and you rip out your thing, you get stickers. Everybody gets stickers.
Okay.
But the only
Yeah, because there's going to be like
she's frozen.
So.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a sticker, something like, I was bitten by the shark or something like that,
Right.
And I don't know whether.
Or a loser sticker for Shark. It's for Shark Week. But
do we have losers? Do we put it on like when people vote?
Yeah, I voted.
Well, we
I
did
died
talk about
for-
having it on your social media, didn't we? But I don't know whether we agreed on that or not.
I mean, definitely, if you want to put it out there, we don't have graphics up yet. But if you want to grab a graphic for your social media profile, then definitely for posting your Shark Week project. So yeah,
Nice.
awesome.
That's very exciting. I'm just thinking what to make now.
Right.
How I can incorporate that into the Murder Knits one too. Since
I think you should
that knit
design a
belongs to
shark hat.
There's a lot of shark hats out there.
A bit like
Maybe
the
I'll
Pope's
design-
fish hat.
Just if you make a shark blanket, like for your kids, like I did that year, be very careful where you place the fin,
Yeah, that was quite funny.
because that was an unfortunate placement. When he laid in the blanket, I was like, he's like, I love my shark blanket, mommy, and I'm like, sorry.
Well, it's a learning experience, this crafting thing. You know how it goes.
Liz, you said you had an announcement or something?
Well, you were talking about podcasts mentioning it, and I'm not sure when it's going to load because we haven't figured that out yet. But Therese and Joe and I are going to record tomorrow
Oh, nice.
Ah.
premiere episode of our podcast. So we'll mention it. I will tell them about it. And, you know, Joe lives in Australia. There's lots of sharks there. So maybe she'll participate. But it's the Knit Night podcast, and it's more along the lines of just getting together, knitting and chatting.
Mhm.
We're not real sure how the format's going to be because it's, you know, Therese is on one end of the country, I'm on the other end, and Joe's in another ocean. So we'll figure it all out. But we're recording the first one tomorrow, so it should post Thursday or Friday.
And y'all
Ah.
gonna have like guests and stuff,
So
right?
beware. What?
You're gonna have like guests and stuff, right?
Yes, not the first one, but after that we're gonna have guests and probably all you guys, and also not just knitters and crocheters, but maybe sewers or jewelry writers, just, you know, different people to chat with.
Cool. What's it going to be called, or have you not decided?
Knit Night.
Knit
Knit Night. N-I-T K-N-I-T-N-I-T-E. So it'll be on YouTube
Cool.
and then probably run once I figure out how to do that. So because this tech stuff is all new. So we'll see.
Fun.
But yeah, so our plan, we were supposed to record yesterday, but that didn't happen. And then tomorrow night's the only time we can record. So we'll see how it goes. Don't expect a lot because it's unedited, and it's just going to be us. So we will see what happens. But it will probably devolve at some point. You know,
No,
So-
never.
we need to get
It's gonna be
Joe
awesome.
on with Neil.
Or it's gonna go down in flames, apparently, is Anne's barometer of things. So I mean,
We
if you
need
look
to
at
get
it
Joe
that
Bob on Neil, and then they can talk about words that are similar and different in their countries. And it's not just Amy and Neil in pronunciation. It can be we're not Australian and vice versa, because I know there's some out there.
yeah.
You guys use some language that the Australians use differently. So that should be a thing.
I was
Now I'm
practicing
saying-
those town names you sent, Amy.
Oh,
Number 2, I still don't get my head around number 2.
I messed it up the first time, so
Yeah, I kept replaying your voice thing to try and figure it out, and I
it's
couldn't. Do it.
Nakadish. So
Yeah, it's just
just
gibberish.
like Nakadish.
Nicky.
But there's
So
another town called Nacogdoches, and that's where I messed up the first time. So I was like, oh wait, that's a different spelling. That's got a G and a D in it. So I spelled that wrong.
Isn't
the
that
rest
out
of
of Mary Poppins?
It's over by Mississippi. I can't remember where it is. I don't remember where it is.
Well, I practiced
Sounds good.
Burgundy.
Yes. You had that one right though, because you said that was like a French thing.
Yeah,
Or
because
something.
I would say Burgundy and New Orleans.
No,
No,
New Orleans.
and I
You
can't
don't
remember the
lean
others.
on it. You don't lean on it. But it's New Orleans, but it's Orleans Parish. I don't make the rules, man.
Ah.
That's just the way.
So it's New Orleans. New Orleans.
But Orleans Parish.
So if I remember Chicken Lady Lynn, New Orleans.
Wait, what?
There you go.
Wait, what?
He said
did
it's
you
like
not hear me?
chicken.
My favorite is
Name.
Chapatulas.
Chopatulis.
My favorite is Chapatulas. Most people are like, what?
That one I did know from watching Emerald. He talked about it one time on one of his shows. He was pronouncing some of the names. So that one I did know. But
Yeah.
a lot of them I
Actually
did not.
spell that one because we do a lot of jobs around. We do jobs on that, so I've had to actually spell it enough that I remember how to spell it. So.
Cool.
So, in more knitting news, because we kind of must, this past week's episode, that we haven't talked about the Stitches conferences closing down.
That's a darn shame. I'm so upset for them.
Oh no!
Almost like karma got them or something. I just don't know.
It's almost
Bless their
as
hearts.
people
Hey,
who
bless your
half
heart.
their
I'm just
customers
saying.
to go screw
Bless their
themselves.
It's almost
Maybe they'd be having some problems.
So who actually like owned Stitches? Like,
did that guy? What's the guy's name? I've forgotten his name. Did he own it
Benjamin?
or Benjamin? Yeah, did he own it or did he just run it?
is it just some knitter guy, or is it a bunch of people?
I don't know.
I never did it, so I didn't.
Not
know.
sure.
I don't know if
He's part of a
not.
bigger thing. Is it XRX or something? Is that the bigger company, like the umbrella company?
Yeah, that was what was in the statement. Because I was like, "What is this?" I was
Yeah.
so confused, which I'm talking about.
Well, and part of the thing too is I don't know a terrible amount about the guy who ran it all, besides the fact that he was super woke and he was very okay with having certain yarn dyers on panels talking about their live. Oh wait, that was Vogue. Yeah, he was still so. He was in rooms that are only if you're not white, and rooms if you're gay, and excluding everybody else for these little. It's like that's weird.
Yeah.
Wasn't Stitches the place where they were afraid Neil was going to show up?
I think so.
One of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. I think they had to get security.
Yes,
That's
because
right.
you're
Yeah,
saying
Yelling it's arranged to have security in
So
case I
BS
turned up.
points out he was okay stealing people's money. So does the whole closing of the thing mean that like there were people they were gonna go and it was already planned and they had their stuff and there was gonna be a festival?
Yes,
and now
people had
Right.
already put money down on future events with booths, and teachers who just taught classes recently at shows aren't getting paid.
Right.
And things like that.
Who paid for the classes aren't getting refunds.
And it's not cheap, I assume.
No.
I don't know. I've never been, but I don't know what they charge.
And also, I mean, all the vendor fees, anyone who pre-bought tickets, anyone who there's several people doing like a free patterns and supporting different people during this whole shutdown. But yeah, it's super crappy. Just saying, yeah, already took the booth money and the class money, and also they were discriminating against. I think they had like vaccination stickers that people wore, and they were very masky and social distancing and every little totalitarian that you could in the middle of that. So again, it's a wonder that they're having issues now after they've treated their customer base this way.
It's almost like Bud Light. You know?
It's almost like when you disregard people's feelings and emotions and their freedom, that bad things will happen.
If you tell people that you don't like them, those people are like, maybe I won't hand you money.
Yeah, I'm not welcome. Why should I go and give you money and go to a place where
tell me
I don't want
transphobe? Let me give you money.
Well, and the thing is too that if you bought almost any knitting magazine or even some spinning magazines, that there'd be a big Stitches ad on the back cover or the inside flap. That it is the big thing because they'd have huge conventions around the country too. So.
It's unfortunate that they must have known when they were still taking money in, that they were going to declare bankruptcy. Now, I know legally in some cases they're operating, as is, so, and not just because that's how the rules of bankruptcy are. Even if you still have to continue doing
Right.
business because,
Right.
but still, I mean, to those people, just it's awful because it's a lot of small businesses, and I don't know. Clearly, he didn't care about because people said
Somebody started a fundraiser to help the people that have been conned, but then on is it Craft Snack? Yes, on Craft Snack, somebody has said, "Oh, but be careful. Make sure it's people that we approve of, basically, because there's going to be people on there that are problematic." So it's like, it's like, surely if you're going to be good enough to try and raise money to help
Right.
these people out, you help everyone out. You don't pick and choose based on,
clearly not.
Well, that's where you'd be wrong. So,
Well,
because
Possibly
clearly
it would be discriminatory.
you only deserve your money back if you agree with what they agree with. So,
well, clearly there's a lot of disposable income people contribute to fundraisers to
yes,
all the time. So clearly, I'm sure
Yes.
they'll get a lot of
If
money for that.
only they hadn't given all their money to a certain yarn dyer in Georgia.
it's a pity.
Wonder if she showed at those events.
Probably not.
Because
I can't.
I
Go on,
know.
Liz.
I know Lady Di was affiliated with that guy because he was one of her big defenders when that started coming out.
I
And he
don't
tried to
think.
stop
I don't think Adela likes Lady Di, though, does she? I think there's a bit of an issue with them, isn't
I
there?
thought they were buddies.
Were they buddies? Are they still buddies?
Well, I think that they're kind of too. I don't know this for sure. This is mere speculation that they're too similar to be friends. Their whole business model is being
Since we're all
on
blocked and can't see anything. So.
pay money for
Yeah.
operations. So I mean, you wouldn't want competition in that space.
And speaking of Adela, I checked on her GoFundMe again today, and in the 2 weeks since we mentioned it last time, I think she's raised another $420. So it's really slowed down. And she posted something. I don't know when she posted it, but I only noticed it today, where she was kind of having a go at people, where she was saying, you can do better. It's like, what? They've already given you 74,000 something.
People who ask for that, it's never going to be enough.
Yeah, no.
They see what they can get, and they will continue demanding it because
it just reminds me of like the abusive husbands. Like, if only you wouldn't have done whatever, then I wouldn't have beaten you. If only you'd given more.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone out of business and stolen everyone's money and not supplied the yarn that they ordered. Or whatever the excuse will be.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if she uses this money in a way that actually benefits getting things out quicker, because it seems like
the thing I'm interested in is it's supposedly the cause of the quarter. So when does that end? When does this quarter end? And then what if they don't get the 100,000, which I don't think they're going to anytime soon?
Well,
she ups the money that she said this is the goal, and everyone said sure. Who knows why? But then after that, like, I need more money though.
Yeah.
But the quarter.
I think Andy.
January, February, March.
And
so is it April, May, June then? This quarter. Sorry, Liz.
I think Andy started GoFundMe for travel money, so she can go around the world and buy yarn from every country in the world. That's a worthy cause, right?
Well, I'm going to do a GoFundMe to pay for me to come to America and come to all the states.
Yeah,
very worthy cause.
Yeah, I think Lola Bean should give me at least $20,000 just to do that. I think that would be really good of her to do that.
It'd be like the tour, Great American Tour.
Yeah, me
Right.
waving like
Well,
King Charles.
Like the Queen.
you know, not just as a black woman, but also considering that you have dyed yarn before, and part of her mission was to teach people how to dye yarn. So if you were to go around on a dyeing yarn teaching tour, I mean, perfect.
Well, as a black woman, I'll be able to get free bed and board in her new property that she's building, and a free course that you white people will pay for as reparations for when you put me into slavery. Perfect. Thank you, Anne, for that. I'll kill you last.
Okay.
Now,
Oh,
did you see that Congressman, Neil, a couple weeks back, who identified as a black woman?
Yes, everyone kept sending it me. It was quite funny because everyone was thinking the same thing. Yeah, he's quite cool. That was quite funny. But Piers Morgan is now as well. Apparently, he's now identifying as a black lesbian. I think, is that his thing that he's saying?
Oh, I'm late to the party. Cheers.
But I think there's going to be a law passed in the UK. They're still talking about it. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to play the game if it happens. If they pass this gender recognition law, which means anyone can state their gender and it becomes legal, I'm going to do it just for the mess of it, just to play that game, because it's like they won't want people like me to do that, and then try and
Bond girl every day. Like, excuse me.
I saw a thing the other day. I guess there's a theater in London on the West End who are asking for only black audience one night so that they can watch the play without experiencing the white gaze, is how they expressed it. And I was watching one of the news shows. I don't know which one. And news shows. Anyway,
it's so scary, the white gaze.
Yes, the girl on it said that
not the white gaze.
Her friend was going to buy up all the tickets and fill the audience with albinos. That was his plan.
Well, I know that theatre because I used to work in Stratford, because it's Stratford in East London, so it's not actually on the West End. It's a much, it's not well known for, it's not the theatre district, to put it that way.
Oh, okay.
But it has had some big things on there, and the area is pretty much Muslim, Pakistani, Bengali, and black. So there are very, very few white people that live and work there. And it's probably the most racist area of the UK that I've ever been to. So when I used to go to work, I used to get off at the train station and I had to walk through a shopping centre to get to the college that I worked at. And when they saw me, because I had to wear a suit back in those days, and they see a white man wearing a suit and they would spit on the floor. Not everyone, but it happened very, very regularly, on the floor directly in front of me. And they would do that other thing where they walk into you. They deliberately would walk into you. And that was because I was white, and they just don't like, well, when I was white, because obviously now I'm black. And it was probably the most uncomfortable I've ever felt anywhere ever. Because I always felt like I was going to be attacked. Never was, to be fair, never was. But yeah, so Stratford East is a very dangerous place for white people, I would say. So not many white.
Probably only like one white person that ever shows up at the show.
Well, the funny thing will be it'll be the opposite. The only people that will ever go to that theatre will have been white people that have travelled to the theatre, because generally in the UK, Asian Muslims especially never go to the theatre. You never see Pakistani, Indian, or Bengali in the theatre, hardly ever. It's kind of I've got a friend who's Muslim, Pakistani, and he just says he was going to go to the theatre once, and his mum just said, no, we don't do that. And it's like this weird thing that white people do. Like, why would you sit in the uncomfortable chairs to watch other people doing weird stuff on a stage? It seems to be something very culturally strange to them. But yeah, it's obviously a ploy, and it's to get people angry. And and the other thing that's happened as well is the Transport for London. There's a job advert has gone out, and white people are banned from applying. So only people who are of black heritage can apply for these jobs, and they are paid jobs. So it's not like it's a voluntary thing that they've tried to do in the past, how they try and get around it. So basically, and the thing about this is that London now, white English people, so I'm not talking about white Polish and white Europeans as well, but white English people are now in the minority in London. So if anything, they should be saying we need more white English people to apply for jobs, to get the stats up. But
That's not how it works, Neil.
People.
Did y'all see the feedback from the students at Howard University for Biden given the commencement?
No.
Oh my gosh. There was some video from the kids, adults, young adults, college students. I mean, some of these kids are getting masters and doctorates and these are not dumb kids, And isn't Howard an Ivy League school? I can't remember if it's an Ivy League school.
No, it's a historically black college.
Historically black college. Okay. We have a crap ton of those too down here. But the kids in the audience were just like, they're like, I'm not even listening to this. They're like, they couldn't have got any black person. Could we get anybody? One guy was like, what's LeBron doing? LeBron could have showed up. I mean, Steph Curry, what's he doing? Their reactions were hilarious. And of course, the media was like, Biden gives a speech and blah, 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 blah. The kids were like,
did he talk about his work in the civil rights movement that never happened? Usually what he brings up. Like the other day, he brought up again, he was talking to military and he brought up the fact about his son dying in Iraq, even though his son died from cancer in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Not because of the Iraqi war, but he keeps telling that one every time he speaks to military people. Like
arrested and something about Nelson Mandela before.
Yeah, see Nelson Mandela or something. I don't know.
Like, no, you really didn't. Yeah.
But he doesn't remember being buddies with the KKK members, like Robert Byrd.
Going to his funeral, speaking at his funeral.
Giving eulogy, at
Robert Byrd's funeral. We don't remember that.
I wonder if from Howard were like, huh.
I know.
Yeah, it's like, dude, really? I'm surprised he could remember where the stage was, quite frankly, because it seems like every video is someone having to manually move him because he gets lost and stumbles off somewhere.
It's embarrassing, though, isn't it? Really, it's ludicrous, but it is actually embarrassing.
Well,
because the stuff they used to say about Trump and then compare it to what he does, it still infuriates me.
I think the fact that he's incompetent might be a blessing, because if he wasn't, he could be way more insidious on the things he does.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And because Kamala does nothing but
idiots.
Well, didn't he say that he works for Kamala in something recently? He said,
yeah, he's saying it every once in a while. It's like, I thought Jill was the.
Sorry.
No, just. She said, I don't think Biden remembers he's president most days.
Anne keeps breaking up.
That's okay.
He did He did say that Nancy Pelosi solved the economy or something during the Great. To me, that just proves that Nancy Pelosi is 200 years old. It's clearly.
But the thing with Biden and Harris is that the administration is awful and is insidious and is extremely harmful to America. But it's difficult to say, hey, you guys are doing this, when they're so dumb. You're like, you don't even.
Oh, I know it's not him who's doing all the stuff. I just think if he were more cognitively aware, there was more stuff that he would be pushing.
Oh, did I read right that they a lot of the states or a lot of the counties have managed to get the the voting machines taken down for the 2024 vote? Is that correct?
In Arizona, I saw something about that. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
is it just one state?
Well, Arizona. So
yeah, several states have banned the use of those machines, I think.
Wonder why. What could possibly be the reason?
Oh,
I mean, can we not just get the machines or whatever they use for American Idol? Because that seems to work really good and fast.
We have
That's just
Yeah.
people calling in, right? That's people calling in on their phones, isn't it?
Hey,
On their
they're not
computer.
asking for ID, so whatever.
They're not asking for ID when you vote either, evidently.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Dead people are already voting now, so what's the difference? Let's just speed this up.
but our
I mean-
dead
Can't they just do like an arm wrestle and the winner gets it?
I mean, these people were verifying signatures on ballots from home.
Right.
Why were they
Wow.
taking the ballots home and verifying?
Yeah.
There should be no work for home.
Well, in our recent
that.
local elections, we just had one recently at the beginning of May, and it's absolutely brilliant. We, for the first time in a long time, we had to take ID, and it's why people have an issue with it. I don't understand, because it's like we've all got ID for something. You know, there's nothing, you know, the people that are moaning saying that they've got to show ID go on holiday to Ibiza every year, you know what I mean? And they have to show the passport. So why can't they show the passport to vote? And then a lot of the other ones that are moaning don't even vote anyway.
Well, doctor, you can't buy a plane ticket. You can't do anything without an ID. So to
I could
claim
get my kids like driver's permit without my
yeah,
ID.
exactly. So to claim that, you know, it's discriminatory, it's not, because
We have to do it to register with a doctor and a dentist. You have to show, you know, photo ID.
yeah,
So
it's crazy. I don't know. It's a crazy world. Thank God we have knitting.
well, can you imagine it's going to get bad, isn't it? The lead up to 2024 election, you know, it's going to get crazy.
Oh yeah.
The knitters are going to be.
What is my phone kept buzzing? What's the deal with DeSantis? What's the
I don't know.
From what I hear, is announcing tomorrow.
Oh, that he's going to run
on Twitter with Elon Musk.
Oh.
So you need the star power. That's a little weird.
Oh, Teresa's just said that as a black woman, I should feel oppressed over ID. Yeah, I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't get ID.
You don't know how to get ID.
Well, yeah. How
know
would I ever know? You know,
to the Kinkos and make copies, because copying your ID is legal.
Oh, okay. So, are you going to? Who are you going to vote for then? Is it going to be Trump or DeSantis?
Oh, Trump, certainly.
I don't vote.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think he's going to win. You know, I think he'll win.
If I voted Bobby Kennedy.
Oh yeah, you like him, don't you?
That's your man.
Never gonna happen, but
I don't know. I think we could be surprised who's still in the race when it comes around.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, because
Hillary, do you think she'll try and come back?
Well, she did point out Biden's age the other day.
Because she's so much younger.
Well,
yeah,
clearly.
I'd also read somewhere that it's been proven now that she was behind the Russia hoax.
Mm-hmm.
So why is nothing happening to her? Why are they not doing anything about that?
Okay, it's the whole stupid thing with the Durham report. Okay, the Durham report just comes out to say what everyone knew 3 years ago when the Durham report happened, and nobody was able to be arrested. And we can talk about the Durham report all day long and be like, yeah. So, is anybody but maybe a couple of guys gonna, go down for it? I mean, sure. If the Durham report, there's information in it. If it goes more mainstream and more people learn about the corruption, okay, fine. I guess it has some utility there. But besides that, it's like it proves so much, and we do so little. And he didn't even interview, Stroke, whoever. He didn't interview any of the key players in this. He is dragging his feet to dot every I and cross every T for the 2016 election. The interference for the 2016 election. And it's like, whereas everybody else is busy with with the next one coming, 2024. You think you could maybe look at that, have some concern, something.
And what happened with Sorry, Anna, I cut you off there.
Sorry.
With the impeachment of Biden, because didn't that woman in the Senate or in Congress try and get him
Well,
impeached?
she put articles up, but it takes a while. It's going to happen because the Democrats aren't going to allow it to happen. She did it by to make a statement.
Right.
They're never going to do impeachment on Biden unless they have the smoking gun of him on video taking cash for something Hunter did.
Right.
Even then,
I bet they
we
wouldn't.
have him on video say, intimidating the previous Ukrainian prime minister, saying that if you don't do don't get government funds, that's corrupt enough. We have tons of information. Still nothing has happened.
Nope. Hey Neil, here's a change of subject, but what do people think that Prince Harry and his wife faked the car chase?
Nobody believes that here. Nobody. Well, nobody I've spoken to. I'm sure there are people out there that do, but it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. Yeah.
And also with it too, it's like the dumb woman played all of her cards way too early in her Diana cosplay. That she's like, oh well, we've been harassed by press, not even like giving you time so that the common person be like, wow, that's right, Meghan has had a really hard deal. No, she's been a princess for 5 minutes. She assumes everybody loves her for being a princess for 5 minutes. Then me, and we're like, again, there hasn't been much time for this.
It wouldn't surprise me if, allegedly, I'll say this now, it wouldn't surprise me if she ends up orchestrating an accident for Harry. So that she can milk the Diana thing, but through Harry dying in a car accident.
Trying to drive him crazy. I think she set the whole thing up and he had no idea. Because I think she's been messing with his mind since she met him. All the dressing like his mother, claiming, that she was going to kill herself, that he needed to protect her because he couldn't protect his mother. All the perfume, the mother's ashes while they're trying to make a baby.
What was that?
He had the ashes on the table next to the bed when they were trying to make a baby.
What, Diana's ashes?
Yeah, so it meant she approved or something. I don't know. I just think she's playing into his mental health to the point where then she can leave. He's not safe to be around.
Yeah. I feel sorry for him in a way because he's kind of ruined everything he had. Because he was the most favourite royal of everybody in this country, and now nobody has got time for him. I say nobody. I'm sure some do.
Well, I also think it was a setup because of to prove that he did need special protection. He has those 5 cases against the Home Office going.
Well, he's just been told off because he was trying to say that he wanted to buy police protection, and the police turned around and just said, "We are not for hire," which is like, well, good, because the police are not for hire. Mm-hmm. They do offer protection for the royal family, the working royals. As part of their duties to the country, but he isn't a working royal anymore. He doesn't do anything for the country. So why should our police force protect him?
Well, yeah, they said
they don't live there, though, right?
Sorry, what's that?
No, they live here. They live in California.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, they said they couldn't ask a police person to put their life on the line for somebody. That's not their job as a policeman. That's why the royal, I guess the ones that protect the royal family have special training that normal policemen don't, and so it's different expectations.
Yeah.
But well, he can pay for security like every other rich person. But he's 40 years old. I don't sympathize. And
still crying about daddy cutting off his money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well, in really dramatic UK news, one of our TV presenters has been fired from a daytime TV show, and it is all anybody is talking about at the moment. So he's called Philip Schofield, and he's been a TV presenter for at least 35 to 40 years. So he's about 60 now. But he's one of them people who's very young looking, even though he's got white hair now. He still looks like he's about 18. And it's a very strange story. Nobody seems to be able to quite get to the bottom of it exactly.
Was
But
he
what
a breakfast? Was
he
he on
has done breakfast, but the show that he's most famous for was sort of from 10:30 till about 12. So it
Okay.
was called This Morning. So it's kind of like the late morning slot.
I thought it was.
I
I thought it
see.
was something to do with his brother. His
Yeah,
brother's
well,
pedophile.
I'm just going to get onto that
Right.
now.
Was
So
that the show with
Sorry.
like a girl, him and another girl in the morning?
yeah, Holly Willoughby. Oh, so you know about him?
Well, then there's some clips about like they were always laughing at stuff together and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Holly Willoughby.
No,
Yeah.
it was a specific clip, and I wonder if it's the same one you're thinking about, Amy, where they had a gal on who was saying that, after your first couple of weeks that the vaccines are 100% effective, and he was all, well, why haven't we heard about this before? Is that?
No, I think it's
That's
just
the same one.
careful. There's a couple of clips, and it's like a meme of like when you and your friend get together and you're supposed to be good and not laugh, and you sit next to each other at an event and you're always going to laugh. I mean, I've seen a few little
Okay.
clips.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah,
was
they
amazing.
were like that. Yeah, they
you
were
know,
like that.
So we don't know why he got canned.
Well, what it is, so his brother this week has been convicted for 12 years. He's received sentence for paedophilia, but this is his brother. However, it gets very, very murky because Philip Schofield came out as gay in 2020, I think it was, and he's married with 2 grown-up daughters, and nobody gave a shit about his wife. Everyone was saying how marvelous and brave he was and fawning all over him, and it's like, all very well, but you've got a wife. Your wife is the one who's now having to be brave and whatever. But anyway, so that was that. And then there was a lot of question as to why, after all these years, did he suddenly have to come out? What was the reason? So anyway, it turns out, allegedly, that he is like a sponsor for like a young acting place, where youngsters go to learn how to be actors. And there's photos of him with an 11-year-old boy called Matthew McGreevy, I think his name is. And over the year,
they named the boy.
Well, he's an adult now.
So
this is from years ago. So the boy at the time was 11. So nobody knew about this at the time. Now he's an adult. It's all coming out. So anyway, this boy, there's rumors and speculation that he's groomed this boy from being 11. So out of all of the kids that went to this class, only this boy was invited to the filming studios in London. And then he basically was groomed in a non-sexual way into becoming a TV presenter himself. So when he was over age, so when he was 16, he suddenly got a job on the TV show as a runner, which I presume is somebody who does all the little odd jobs, for the stars or whatever, running around literally. And then he started to do a few bits of presenting himself. The speculation is that he was with Philip Schofield, but possibly before he was of age. And then Philip Schofield mysteriously dropped him and he got fired. And he then went to work on a different show. And in the meantime, it gets very, very convoluted, but there was another presenter on that show who allegedly went to the bosses of the show with a complaint about this inappropriate behavior with this boy. And she was fired from the show. So Philip Schofield got her fired. And then the thing that seems to have sort of broken the camel's back with the public is when the Queen died, she was lying in state, the body. And Philip Schofield. Sorry, what's that?
Okay, keep going. I just remembered it. So
so Philip Schofield and Holly, the two who are always together, they basically just walked through to the front of the queue. So where other people were queuing for 9-12 hours, they just walked straight to the front and pretended it was because they were making a show about the Queen's funeral, which has never, ever materialized, by the way. So they never did do that show. And from that moment, basically everyone's kind of had it in for him and people are more willing to listen to the stories. And one by one, all the people that have been working with him over the years are starting to come out of the woodwork and basically saying some pretty horrible things about him. But I think very, very soon, the lad, Matthew McGreevy, who's disappeared since 2021, I think it is, or 2022, nobody's seen or heard from him. He's not dead, there's nothing weird, sinister like that. But I think he's gone underground to hide from all of the stories. But everyone thinks he's about to come out and announce that he was abused by him, allegedly. So that'll be a shocker. Although it won't be a shocker because we all think it.
Were unhappy because he supported his brother.
Well, yeah, the story is that for quite a while he tried to protect his brother so that his brother wouldn't, because his brother worked for the police. Oh, Anne's gone. What do we do without Anne? Are we still live?
Yeah, we're there.
We're rudderless.
You're in charge now.
Yeah. Oh, she's back.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Oof, you cast us adrift. Yeah, apparently he tried to protect his brother so that his brother wouldn't get caught. But now that his brother has been caught and convicted, he's now saying that he doesn't have a brother. He's cut his brother off. So, yeah, somebody said in the comments it's going to be another Jimmy Savile. And it might be, but it might just be with the one boy.
Well,
but we don't know.
I mean, so sorry. With my internet dying. I mean, okay, on one hand, it could be court of public opinion. People just hate on the guy. But on the other, it does kind of sound like a Kevin Spacey thing where it's like, oh, you abused this young boy. And he said, guys, it's okay. I'm gay. It's like, no, it's not.
That's exactly it.
The timing is very suspect too. Right. I remember reading when he came out that it was very out of the blue.
Right. Yeah.
And then they were all, bowing down. Oh, you're so brave at your age to be willing to be your true self. And
if they're underage, it's still not okay. It doesn't matter whether you're straight or gay.
Yeah.
Now,
and also Rolf Harris has died. So do you know who Rolf Harris is?
I saw that, but I wasn't sure who he was.
Yeah, he's an Australian, but he's lived in the UK or had lived in the UK for donkey's years. And he was a entertainer, an artist. He did music. He was in Salford, where I am, for a long time. He used to do a TV show at the local animal shelter, and everybody liked him generally, thought he was great. And then it turned out that he was a paedophile and had been abusing children, and he got sent to prison. And then he's been released, but some of the charges against him, or some of the accusations against him, were proven to be false, but the media didn't actually talk about that. They only talked about the ones that he was convicted of. But anyway, he's died today, age 93. So I'm kind of glad, because I just think, whatever the situation is there, that's over with now. He's because he was a friend of Jimmy Savile, at least on air. We don't know whether they were friends, off air, but they did a lot of things together on TV.
I don't know. Sad.
I think when we find out the extent of it in the media and TV, I think we'll be shocked. I think there's going to be a hell of a lot more, that have been.
Well, the article I read said the reason why they were kicking him off the show was because she wanted to do a women-only episode of the show on International Women's Day without him, and he got mad and went above her head to the studio head and that she had it out for him ever since then.
That could be true. I've not heard that, but it could be true.
But also that their families used to go on vacation together.
Well, they did. They used to go on holiday together. Yeah. They were like inseparable for a long time. But apparently there's been a lot of friction where he's kind of told her to be quiet. Not necessarily in that way, but he's kind of made her stop talking during interviews, and then he's taken over. He's always kind of felt that he was the boss, whereas she has become far more popular and he's probably a better TV presenter than he is. And he's probably really jealous of that now, but the public are turning against her as well. Now they're saying that she protected him and covered up for him for years, and she probably knew about the boy, and didn't, report it because but then, she would probably argue that she was trying to get on in her career. And if she had have reported it like the other presenter did, she'd have been fired. So, I mean, but then some things are more important than a TV job, aren't they?
Yeah. Do y'all have
the blonde girl? She'll survive.
Yeah. Do y'all have
Yeah.
like the mandated reporter laws like we have in America?
Or what's that? Is where you have to report on something.
If you know and you see
I think the problem we do in certain jobs. So, for example, in teaching, that's
Right.
something. But the problem is, and I came across this when I was teaching, is that you have to have evidence, and a lot of the times it's a feeling. You know, when you get a feeling something
Yeah,
isn't
no.
right, and then you go to your boss, because I did that with somebody who I worked with who did turn out to be a paedophile. I went to the boss about it. And I just said, there's just something, you know, the students are telling me that he's wearing a kilt and he's not wearing anything underneath and he's flashing himself when he's sat at his desk. And I told them that. I just said, this isn't right if it's true. But the problem is that none of the students would then say that they had said that. Do you know what I mean? So it looks like I'm just making it up, you know. So, and this is the problem with that, with those kind of rules. It's like they won't. You've got to have evidence, and it's something
You don't
that's so
have to have
hard to get.
evidence here. You have to, if you report it in good faith, there's nothing that can be done to you if you turn out to be wrong,
Right.
whether it's physical abuse, sexual abuse, whatever, you know, neglect. But it used to just be teachers and coaches and stuff like that. Now every adult is a mandated reporter in America. A lot of people don't realize that. And
so is it the case that if you do know something and you haven't reported it, that you are then prosecutable? Is that the right word?
I don't know if everybody's ever had it like against them, charged for that. I just know that, as you know, because I have been that person that reported it, and that person has gone to jail and is subsequently dead finally. But you can't, like, if you're a wife and you're accusing your ex of it and it's not true and it comes out to be not true, well, then she's could be charged with
that would be classed as malicious, wouldn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to do it in good faith. So if you have evidence, obviously that's better, but you don't have to have the evidence, you know, because sometimes it's neglect. I mean, you can't prove that they're starving the kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you see the kid's super skinny and has bruises on him or whatever, you know.
One of the other things that we have that it hasn't been in place for that long, and again, I don't know whether I don't think it's all adults, I think it's just certain professions, that if a child tells you something, you're not allowed to say to the child that you'll keep it a secret. No matter what it is, you're not allowed to keep a child's secret, you know, from anyone else for any particular reason, which is interesting.
Unless they're changing their identity, right?
Right.
I was just going to say, unless they're changing gender. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is my PSA for parents. Teach your kids that adults don't tell you to keep secrets. Adults can ask you to make a surprise for
surprise, I'm a girl.
Surprise, we're gonna give daddy a present for his birthday, not secrets. Adults don't ask kids to keep secrets. So,
and adults don't ask kids for help.
No, adults don't ask kids for help. So, and for the love of God, teach your children the proper names for their body parts.
Yes.
Please.
I agree.
Don't make up cute names. Don't make up animal words. Just teach them the names.
Oh, there's a teacher in the UK that has been permanently barred from the profession. I think he might have been in Northern Ireland, I think. So he's no longer allowed to teach. And the reason is because he misgendered a child twice. You know, a child that is non-binary, in inverted commas.
Well, that's.
Oh, we always do this when I'm on, don't we? Always bring it right down. Like,
So, this past week, I said it before I went, but I was on this show called The Midweek Hump, which it was a great time. It's on the Shagsworth YouTube channel and Rumble and everything. And, you know, Horror Armorado was on it, Sheepsidian, lots of people. It was a grand old time, but it was sort of the same thing too. They break up their show so that they'll do the first hour or so on YouTube, and then they'll just do Rumble, and they're like, yeah, and on Rumble you can talk about anything. I'm like, that's great. Let me tell you about vaccine harms. I'm like, oh, I did it again. Sorry, guys.
Speaking of the vaccine, the UK have it's just come out that on June the 30th, there's going to be no more of them, and they're kind of advertising it as if it's like buy one, get one free before they run out,
Which one? Are they saying like no more at all? Or are they just doing no more the monovalent? Because in America, they very
I don't know.
quietly said no more of the monovalent. Now it's the bivalent one, which would make sense because viruses mutate, which is why you can't make the flu go away with a vaccine because it mutates. So I'm no scientist, but allegedly.
We're all going to be zombies.
Allegedly. I saw something the other day. Somebody said they were trying to come up with a cancer vaccine. I was like, no, no, that's how we got the movie I Am Legend. Like, no, did we not learn from that?
It's gonna work out.
They're making a sequel to that with Will Smith, by the way.
Are they really? How do you make a sequel? He died.
Spoilers.
Sorry. Look, it's been like 15
been
years.
out for 20 years, so
it's been like 20 years. If you ain't watched it yet, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's trying to reboot his career after his Academy Awards.
How is it going to be a sequel?
I guess because when the guy wrote the book, there were alternative endings.
Oh.
Unless it's a prequel.
Oh, well, that would make sense. It was a prequel, but
yeah, but then it would just be a normal world where nobody was sick.
Before the cancer vaccine came into play and killed everybody.
Yeah,
I still remember watching that when it came out. I was like, oh, do they?
Maybe it was a dream in the shower.
Dallas.
Huh?
Who shot JR? That was.
I was about to say.
Speaking of spoilers. I'm about to watch the last episode of Better Call Saul, so please do not spoil it. Do not tell me.
I didn't watch that. My son, he watched
it is
that
so good.
I have not watched that.
Isn't that a spinoff of the Meth Lab guy movie?
Yeah,
show?
Breaking Bad. Yeah, it's actually better than Breaking Bad, I think, personally. Yeah,
I saw the anniversary of the finale of Buffy, and I was like, wow, that ended 20 years ago. Wow, I am old.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Well, I used to love that show.
Well, I really am old now because that doesn't seem 20 years.
I still haven't seen it. I'm sorry, guys.
I didn't like it.
Oh, I loved it. I even bought the comic because they did the season that would have come after it if it hadn't been cancelled. Joss Whedon wrote a comic about it. But it got a bit silly because obviously he wasn't constrained by, filming and what he could do, but it did get silly.
Well, he's had his issues.
Oh yeah, what's happening with him? Is he non-person? What is it, persona non gratis now, or whatever they call it?
They Me Too'd him, I think, and then all these things. Yeah, years ago he went off on people on set, and they were saying that he treated women badly, and I don't know. I haven't heard from him since. It's.
I liked everything he put out because he did Firefly, Dollhouse.
Yeah.
Dollhouse was great. Did you ever see that one?
That was different. That was very different.
Yeah, it was quite prophetic. Yeah, I think Anne would like it if you can get through the first sort of 5 episodes.
Oh gosh!
Look, man, that's terrible. Like when we lead off with new Doctor Who, it's just like, okay, just get past the garbage can episode, and then you're like, watch 5 whole episodes, and it'll be fine. Like,
it'll be good.
No, it's good from the beginning, but the first 5 episodes are not what it's really about. It gets deep after the first 5 episodes.
Look, I gave up on Anne of Green Gables, so I ain't committing to nothing that you say I gotta get past 5 episodes on.
I love Anne of Green Gables. But I sat through all of WandaVision. Don't make me do this.
Did you not like WandaVision?
WandaVision was better than I expected it to be.
It
was so different.
I
think because it was not your typical superhero story. The way they did it, made it engaging.
For the whole okay, so my expectations were already at 0. Like the whole Loki show, I only enjoyed the Loki show because you've already crashed and burned your universe. So it's like, how about we have an alternate guy? And I'm like, okay. And Owen Wilson's in it. Fun. It's like there's a lot of stupid going on here, but some of your base concepts are really interesting. Really should have stolen the song from "You Should Have or You Only Live Twice. That would have been awesome. But anyways, but it's like, no, that was my entire mentality. But at the end of WandaVision, I'm like, this,
Yeah,
you
the end
did
was
some
weird.
iffy things. You did
Yeah,
some
the end was
morally
weird.
questionable.
Did you see how they killed off Ms. Marvel in the Spider-Man comic book?
Oh yeah.
And they're mad
Uh-uh.
because it was a white writer who killed off a Muslim character.
But they've got a get out of
Actually,
jail clause with that because they've announced that she's a mutant. And this means now that the X-Men comic, which has just gone absolutely crap, excuse my French, they now live on an island called Krakoa. And on this island, there's a group of mutants that somehow, when they're on this island, they can bring back mutants from the dead. So my premonition, no, what's the word? My prediction is that that's how they're going to bring the character back.
Well, it's comic books. They always bring people back from the island to do it. I mean, seriously, how many times has Wolverine died? You know, the only people who do not come back are Uncle Ben and Thomas and Martha Wayne. Those are the only ones who. Well, they came back. She came back as the Joker, and he came back as Batman. But other than that, everyone can come back. That's just comic books. Nobody really.
Even Gwen Stacy came back, didn't she? So
yeah,
she was killed by the Green Goblin, wasn't she, off the bridge? Then she came back as Ghost Spider or something, or Spider Ghost.
I gave up on all that.
I
think
I'm superheroed out.
What was the last Marvel movie that came out before COVID? Was that Endgame or Infinity War?
Yeah, probably Endgame.
Endgame came after Infinity War, didn't it?
Yeah, but it was
that's the
COVID.
last Marvel movie I watched.
Well, that's probably a good point to stop watching.
I was like, I'm done.
Pretty much.
You killed my man. I'm done.
That's when I also checked out. But also, Spider-Man was good. But that's like only because Spider-Man movie and Spider-Man movie are kind of their own little separate bubble.
Yeah, I heard.
The only problem though with the second Spider-Man movie is because Sony made it, and all Marvel told them was that there was a 5-year gap once they were blipped, and Sony had no knowledge of anything else, how they came back or anything. So when they made the second Spider-Man movie, they had no idea what was going to happen in Endgame, other than it had been 5 years.
Oh.
So a lot of what doesn't make sense in movies because they had no clue. You know.
Well, that was a stupid plot device anyways. Yes. I mean, of all the things that broke the world, that just doesn't. You try to play that out in your mind of if you lived in that world. I'm like, I'm sorry, it doesn't. That's just miserable. That just it's not fun anymore. And if you forgot, it's a comic book. It's supposed to be fun.
Yes. I didn't even go see, and I like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm not even going to go see the third one because I just don't care anymore.
It'll be on Disney soon.
Yeah.
The only one I want to see.
I might see it. Yeah. Probably.
The only superhero movie I will probably see will be the next Deadpool, only because Hugh Jackman's in it.
Well, Deadpool has been brilliant, I think. Amy's not happy with Deadpool. Say it again, Amy.
Don't judge me. I haven't seen any Deadpool.
Oh, you'll enjoy it. They're good. They are. Especially the Princess Bride version.
I haven't seen the thing in
the Princess Bride version PG.
Yeah, baby.
I haven't seen Daredevil either. Sorry.
It's so good.
I'm afraid because Daredevil they're gonna ruin, and then I'll be sad. So I don't want them to do it because it's Disney.
No, I know, and as I've quipped before, one of the major plot things in Daredevil is necromancy is uncool. Like it's just not.
Don't that. Okay.
That is a plot point.
And they're like, oh, we saved Daredevil. It's alive again. I'm like, no. Look into its dead eyes. Don't do it.
Yeah, and he went on the walk of shame after spending the night with She-Hulk. I mean, is that really the Daredevil we want? No. That is not the Daredevil we want. I'm sorry. I love Charlie Cox, but
total kind of sidebar, not superhero, but have you seen the trailer for the new Indiana Jones?
Oh yes,
I've seen the woke bit.
My husband said it's so terrible. He's like, it's like they made Harrison Ford Biden, and so girl has to like save the day. And,
What did
Yeah,
they
because
say?
isn't there a scene?
huh?
Isn't there a scene
I
where
watched one of the.
he says he fought the Nazis, and then she turns around and says, "Yes, but you also colonized the world and stole
Yeah,
everything from
something
them," or
like I
something
don't know,
like
Yeah.
that.
something
Yeah,
stupid.
and
I
the whole thing
watched. I don't know
oh,
if it
I
was
stole from you,
neurotic
you
or
stole
not,
from me, and that's capitalism. And you're like, no.
but one of the reviews were, and you thought the Crystal Skull was bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
I
even
saw
think
that.
the Wokies are covering for it.
I saw
And
Was something should be left buried.
that.
ooh,
It's a shame because that actress as well, she did a brilliant, wrote and starred in a brilliant TV series called Fleabag.
Oh, I've
If
heard
you
of
get
that.
the if you get the chance, watch it. It's
I've heard of
very
that.
dark, but it's
Uh-huh.
very funny. But it's one of them where every episode, I think there's 6 episodes, I think altogether, or 8 episodes altogether. And in every episode, there was one thing that really made me laugh properly. Not just a chuckle, properly laugh, and that is quite rare for a comedy for me. Things make me go, like that, but it was good, and it's dark though. It's kind of there's an undertone to it. So I was quite sad when I saw her in Indiana Jones because I thought, oh, you're better than this.
She's also writing the new Lara Croft reboot.
Is
oh,
she?
Lara Croft will be an insufferable feminist, I'm sure.
Did she write the Indiana Jones reboot?
No.
Then? Did she?
No,
Right.
she didn't write it. Spielberg and Lucas had nothing to do with it. It was all Disney made. So
Oh well,
that
did you
says a
know
lot.
about the thing that was supposedly written into the first Indiana Jones about what's she called? When the woman, he goes to that place and the woman slaps him across the face.
Marion, yeah.
And she says, she was 12. She says, I was 12, and she slaps him across the face. So basically, they wrote it in that they wanted him to be an abuser. He sexually abused Indiana Jones, sexually abused her when she was 12. And if you work it out, yeah, she had to be a child when he was supposedly with her.
Well, there's a reason that they wrote that one out, I would say, but also that, I mean, part of the pre talking about this new Indiana Jones, like, yeah, it's going to be great because Indiana Jones, it's going to be morally gray. It's like, no, you got the good guy and he fights the Nazis. Right. That's the point of the show. So I could see it would be like, oh, it's going to be edgy. Like, no, it's not. We got the most fun.
Says he's just clarified it here. She said she just said she was a child, but she was playing someone who was 8. She was 18 when she said it. So she hits him and says, I was a child.
Well, I think it was more along the lines. Her father was his mentor, and he was there when she was growing up. And I think from interviews that I remember at the time, they talked about how she had a crush on him and he knew it. He just kind of, dumped her. But I don't know. I just know Gary from Nerdrotic ended his review with their movies, and let's just leave it at that.
I wouldn't watch. I've not watched the Crystal, whatever it's called, and I won't watch this last one.
That one was aliens. This one's time travel. So,
They've really jumped the shark now. Speaking of shark.
Yeah. That's a good segue.
Now I've got Fonzie in my mind, water skiing. The shark episode.
Any shark counts.
My husband will definitely watch Sharknado with me if I want, because he thinks those are hilarious. He loves.
I watched the first 2, but
aren't they like 7 now?
I know, they just kept getting more and more ridiculous.
As if Sharknado
that it's got to the point where it's like, okay, the first one, you're like, okay, well, sci-fi does these weird movies, Godzilla versus King, so okay, I'll give it a go. And then you're in it, and you're like, am I really watching this? And then the next one comes out, and you're like, I'm not going to watch this. This is stupid. But then you watch it, and you're like, oh God, I can't believe I watched this.
I think the last one involves space.
Yes, that's what I heard.
Space.
Sharks in space. That's what I heard.
So yeah, Neil, how you coming along with that Tiger King?
I've watched 2.
Only 2.
You haven't watched any more than that yet?
Well, I've been doing the Better Call Saul thing, and that's far more riveting I couldn't. I've watched 2, and it was jaw dropping already, and I don't even think I've got to the good bits yet.
You haven't.
It,
You haven't
just-
gotten to his multiple marriages and boyfriends.
No.
And
Oh, sorry. Yes. So he's got 2 boyfriends, hasn't he?
Have you
And
got
it's
to
quite
the songs
2
yet?
husbands.
The
Huh?
music? Have you got to the music videos yet?
Oh, yeah. There's been 2. There's been 1 each episode. So one of them was
what about
him.
his?
Another one was a woman doing it.
Haven't gotten to him running for president yet.
No. Spoilers.
I forgot about that.
Sorry.
You got to get cracking. I do believe you and Tabitha have a show scheduled that I put on my watch list.
Oh, have you? Yeah, the 2nd of June.
Uh-huh.
So I've got to get it all done by then.
Because
Does that qualify as true crime for us if we're using
Yes,
it while
yes.
we're knitting to
Yeah.
watch?
that's
Yeah.
what it qualifies. So is she making you watch both seasons and then the follow-up stuff?
No, just 1 season. But I might end up watching the 2nd season if I get hooked.
Yeah, no, you
But I
gotta watch
don't know
both
whether I
seasons.
will.
Don't wimp out on it. Do it right. No. No.
Yeah.
Well, what is it with Americans and big cats? What's that all about? Why do you all want a cat that big?
Who doesn't?
I've got 3 small cats. That's enough, trust me.
Fluffy.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that shocked me the most was the one who got her arm bloody chewed off. And his first
Yeah.
thing was, I'm going to lose a fortune. He's like, what about her arm?
Yeah, but she was a big defender of him, though.
Yeah.
You know, that's what
She
cracked
stayed.
me up. She stayed,
Yeah.
and she's like, "No, he really cares about the cats."
Right.
Like,
I think that she was using that as some kind of, coolness thing, so she could tell everyone that a cat had bitten her arm off, and then I laughed, not because of the fact that he had no legs, but then there was the next scene was this guy with no legs, but the tigers didn't get his legs. That was something else that got his legs. But it's like, where do all these people come from? What the hell?
Man, meth
there's
attracts people, okay? I'm just saying.
yeah, there's a lot of
Drugs and sex.
Oh,
Attract
but
a
the other
weird
thing is,
crowd.
like, when you see that wedding, the multiple male wedding thing, it's like, it's so obvious that the first one is like so jealous of the other one.
I gotta
He's
rewatch
like,
this. Because the Duggar documentary comes out.
Oh, I know. I read an
right
article
when
about
Summer
that.
Murder starts, so I'm so excited for that. So I need to
know.
rewatch Tiger King and get that over with, and just forget about it for Summer Murder, so I can focus on the doc.
oh, and I need to talk about Carol for a second. What I noticed about Carol is every time she came on, there was always like this weird music, sinister music, and always like filming her where she's kind of like, with a weird face, like frozen. It's like so obvious they were painting her as evil right from the beginning. Sorry, Anne,
I'm
what was
sorry,
that?
anyone who
No, just that this is the baddie, everyone. Just in case you didn't know.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, or whatever.
So far, I'm on her side. I don't know whether it's going to change, although there is the family of the husband that she allegedly may have killed. Kind of, that was crazy. Just the family. Like, they're all...
Let's
There's
not
more.
bicker and argue. About who?
I don't know. Well, he might have done stuff against Carol. I honestly don't believe he planned her murder because he's just not that bright. In case you've noticed, he's not the brightest dude out
Yeah.
there, and I just can't see
Yeah.
him planning her murder.
Well, was he a millionaire? He must have had something up there to make him, that amount of money.
Was he a millionaire?
He was spending,
says
wasn't it,
he's a
$250,000 on cat food?
The Walmart dumpsters at one point.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Tiger King. Hey, got to give us something to laugh at,
Yeah.
I
mean, I think that's why it was so popular at the time, because it came out right during lockdown, and people were like looking for a diversion, and it was just so insane and such a train wreck. You couldn't turn your, you couldn't
Yeah.
look away,
Yeah. And the
Still more
people in it,
wholesome.
the thing is, it's like no one's likable
Right,
in the whole thing.
right.
So it's okay to
Or you
hate
think they
everybody
are.
because you hate them for abusing the cats.
Yeah,
You hate, so you don't care.
right,
You're not emotionally invested into
right.
bad happening to
Have you
them.
seen
'cause they're all
Teresa's
terrible.
comment? I think you need to put that one on the screen, Anne.
Yeah.
Teresa's comment.
The Tiger King.
I thought we kind of had the Kardashians, but I who works in the
Same
back.
thing.
That's true. That's true.
So.
Hey, the Kardashians used to have Kanye. It's still, a train wreck. They're gonna
Is
start
he still with the Kardashian woman?
Oh no, she dumped him.
Ah. Oh.
They are going to start selling his Yeezys again, since Adidas has millions of dollars worth of them, and they need to
I
unload
thought
them.
they were gonna donate them or whatever.
Well, they're going to donate the money, but they need to do something since nobody's
Oh,
buying
yeah.
Adidas because of their new bathing suit ad. That
Oh,
offends women.
yeah.
Oh my god! Did y'all talk about any of that with the trans?
No, we haven't yet.
Oh, well, speaking
Just
of that,
dudes in women's bathing suits. Just picture that, and then just say no.
did you see the Cabin Boy Knits thing on Instagram? He's at some
No.
yarn festival somewhere. I think it's in Canada. And he invited along a drag queen called Blue Bell or something.
You did share that with me because it looks like Sheila from Napoleon
Yes.
Dynamite.
It did. Well, the thing about it is like she is wearing like a tutu and like Dorothy Wizard of Oz shoes and like trying to do that, clicking the heels thing to get to the yarn festival. But the thing is, like, he's got such sinewy, horrible legs. He's kind of like he's clearly got arthritis or something. You can kind of hear them creaking. But when I was watching it, I thought, what's going to be next? All of the designers. So Liz, you need to do this. All of the designers are going to have trans models to do, wear the hats and because that's where it's going to go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Where it's gonna go.
Well, have you ever noticed how every time they cancel these drag queen events, or every time they outlaw children being allowed to be at these drag queen events, they just cancel them?
Yeah.
Why do they feel the need to do these in front of children? Like, why do grown men feel like they have to dance provocatively in front of children?
I thought it was about children's literacy.
Yeah.
So, like, where's police story hour or grandma story hour
or dentist or firefighter?
Well, I think I figured out why that is, though. I think I got to the bottom of that. I think it's to do with RuPaul's Drag Race, because they have a thing in that where they do the reading in the library, and it's where they slag each other off, where they say really nasty things to each other. And I think that's where the person got the idea that a drag queen should be reading to kids in a library. But even that is weird, that something that's based on being nasty has been transferred over,
I don't understand. If you want to be a drag queen and perform for adult audiences and they want to see it, I don't care. Go for it. Enjoy yourself. I don't see where children should be involved.
Yeah.
Right.
That's adult entertainment. It's like we had Frank Marino here in Vegas, who was a Joan Rivers impersonator. So technically he was in drag, but it wasn't, raunchy dancing and all that. He just was Joan Rivers.
Right.
Well, we had Dame Edna Everage. Did you have?
Yeah. Dame Edna. Yeah.
I mean, Dame Edna said some quite double entendre, risky things, but it wasn't smutty or sexual.
Well, that's how this was.
I don't really understand how the trans community got so obsessed with, or whatever community. I'm not making that comparison, but woke community, whatever. But the drag queen was always supposed to be funny. It was funny because you knew it was a guy dressing up like a woman.
It was
because it wasn't normal. That's why it was funny, and that's why it was a joke. So wouldn't that be insulting to the trans community?
Right.
Because you're not supposed to make it a joke.
Well, kind of back on our, how awful Marvel is. So I don't know if any of y'all watched Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
Not yet.
That was
okay. it was what it was. It wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't terrible. Okay, so there's this scene in it where, not to spoil anything, but Drax and Mantis, they're on Earth, so they're trying to find somebody, so they walk into a gay bar. But here's the thing, this is so sanitized. It's like Disney has to choose between making this funny and making it politically correct. So if you think two aliens who don't know anything about Earth walking into a gay bar, that's a funny scenario because they don't know that this is weird. But
Anal probes, though.
No, but they went into a gay bar. Normally, again, in any other comedy movie, it would be everyone's hitting on them, and it's hilarious because they don't get it. That would be how it is. But no, that like the people in the gay bar are naturally this very kind, very sanitized view. And there's like an accountant, a lady accountant there. She looks like she came off, or like a teacher or something. That's what they look like. Like there's no raucous anything. This is just a nice and innocent gay bar. And, everyone has a good time. And it's a thing. I'm like, you couldn't even take it and make it, like, you couldn't take the joke and run with it. You had to make it all nice and happy for children in a child appropriate Christmas special thing. It was just bizarre.
Well, and it's the joke from the Police Academy movies, the Blue Oyster, the gay bar, where they keep sending people. And it's the thing. The music starts, and it's going to be the gay bar.
I saw a meme on Instagram, and it was a picture of Freddie Mercury, with his moustache, and then next to him was a picture of one of the rockers from that era. I can't think of any now. With all the hair, John Bon Jovi type. And on the left, it said, "This is in the '80s. This is what a gay man was," and it's like, masculine mustache, and the other one was like the gayest thing ever. That this was what a straight man was, and I think it wasn't John Bon Jovi, but it was one of them with the big blonde hair things,
Right. Oh man.
Well, I just, I don't understand the whole non-binary thing because people a long time, but they didn't need a word for it. I mean, if you look at pictures of David Bowie and Freddie Mercury, they dressed however they felt like, and it didn't matter. It wasn't, it just, that's how their personality was. I don't understand
that's how a lot of it's nonsensical. We're non-binary and gender is fluid, but also we're having gender assignment surgery and there's only 2 options.
Well, and the whole
what's option 5? That's what we need to know, isn't it?
Do that. It's either
and the whole thing with gay people, we're saying they're born that way. So you're born gay, but then you can change it? That doesn't make sense. That's not fair to gay people who are attracted to. And I watched Blair White the other day was talking about the whole trans, crazy activists who hate her. Because and said most trans people just want to live a life, and what these activists do makes it harder on them because they can't.
Well, I'm thinking of asking Book Angel to come on my YouTube because I want to ask some questions, that I don't things I don't understand. Do you know what I mean? Like what I don't get about it. And the thing is, I don't know whether Book Angel is the right person because Book Angel isn't one of the people that we're kind of talking about, because Book Angel is quite open about being trans. He, doesn't pretend he's a man.
But he's against children. Same as Blair White.
Yeah.
What about Sarah
Harry's got him on.
Harry's had her on a few times too.
And Sarah would probably come talk to you. Sarah Higdon would probably maybe talk to you.
Yeah.
Well, we were on Kerry's show together for about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So I've kind of met them.
I mean, Buck is one of it's fair warning. If people don't know who he is and you Google him carefully.
Yes.
Around. Okay. He is an adult film star. Okay. But he is not biologically a man. Just clarify that when you Google things.
Yes, it's very confusing if you get the Google wrong, isn't it?
And I am 99% sure he is the man that came and spoke to my college class back, Harrison's 17, so 18 years ago. And I had to take a class on human sexuality. And the professor invited a born female, transition to man, porn star. I'm not thinking there's a ton of them. And he looks just like the person that was in the classroom. So I'm thinking it was Buck. And I'd love to ask him that one day if he remembers coming to New Orleans to the college campus and speaking. But it was the most fascinating thing because he explained it all. And now this is like 2004. So he explained it all and he explained how long it took, like the years that it took of living as a man first. Like before we even talk about hormones or any surgeries. Just to clarify, he's not had the bottom surgery, hence his career. And he had to live as a man, dress as a man, act like a man, all before anybody gave him any drugs. And like all these steps it had to take and all the years of therapy and all the things he had to go through before they would even talk about the mastectomy and the hormones. And that was 2004. And he was telling the story of, I guess by that point, because he's like 60-ish now, I think.
Yeah, he was an adult.
So he was already an adult. I mean, he was telling the story from the past, but he was not. It took years of adulthood, years of living like that and going through that. But it wasn't that long ago that it was like these stupid people on Birdie's thing that are like, the Holocaust was about trans people. You know, I mean, it wasn't. It was not that much span of time difference between how long it took for him to go through this process and how long it takes now.
Yeah.
So,
which is frightening.
Articulate and amazing, like still telling the story. And I'll clarify this with, I think Buck's, he's a cool dude, but when a porn star has to point out that this stuff is wrong with the kids, guys, you're really, really on the wrong side of history.
Well, Blair and I was talking about that when I watched her episode, because the things that if you transition before puberty, you'll never have an orgasm.
That's terrible.
Because once you start taking the hormones and whatever, and you change your body parts, work the way.
Right.
So all these different things that kids don't know because they're kids and they don't know.
Right.
And the appropriate adult figure in their life is not looking out for them.
Right. Yeah, that, people talk about reproductive rights and literally,
literally
without people's knowledge,
literally. I mean, not even orgasm. Okay, you're taking away a person's right to conceive.
Yeah,
but that seems to be the thing that is the aim, though, isn't it? They're happy as long as no baby happens. You know, so they're happy to sterilize, they're happy to abort. You know.
Well, yeah, but even Blair talked about having to go through living as a woman for, I think, 2 years before starting medication. Mm-hmm. Even and this was back in 2010s, before even start medication.
Right.
And years of therapy, and because it's at the time when Buck was too, it was classed as a mental condition. Mm-hmm. Now they've changed all that. It's not. Which
God says he's just said if you really want to be grossed out, look at what they have to do to for bottom surgery on kids who took puberty blockers.
I mean, this is not a subject I would advise you willy-nilly, no pun intended, go Google, because the images are extremely graphic.
Well, and they said that they turn the penis inside out to make a vagina. But have puberty, you have a micro penis, so there's nothing there.
Right. So I mean, the thing that's mind-boggling to me is this is the only one that we affirm. We don't affirm anorexics. We don't affirm cutters. We don't affirm. Well, at the moment, we don't affirm pedophiles, but I have a feeling that's coming.
Oh, yeah, that is coming. That is coming.
We don't affirm any of these mental illnesses, And I mean, it was kind of crazy. I was watching. Do y'all remember I think it was on Netflix, there was a documentary about Rachel Dole, whatever her name is.
Transracial.
Yeah. And it was like maybe 2018, this documentary came out. And the stuff that she did a thing at some college or something, and there was Black women in the audience, and the Black women were like legitimately very valid, saying there is no way you can understand the life we've lived. You're never ever going to understand the role and the position and the things we've suffered and the things we've gone through and our lived experiences. And they're right. The white woman is never going to understand that. Neil is never going to understand how a woman is.
Yeah, although I'm a Black woman, I do not actually know what it's the same way you don't know what it's like to be a man.
Right.
Well,
But
that's
You
it.
can imagine.
call this
Or
out.
even your experience walking through the shopping center. I mean, you can have similar
Right.
experiences or
Right.
imagine, but still, it's
Well,
the stuff.
But
these
imagine
kids,
saying that now.
they're
Imagine
they're
a
getting
woman
these kids
standing up
to
and
say
saying
they
that
feel
too.
like whatever a woman
Right.
feel like. Is it because she wears pretty clothes and makeup? Is that what makes you think you're a woman? Because
Right.
Well,
I don't
going
know what
back
it feels
to
like to be a man, and I can't, because I'm not. My brain is not. My chromosomes are not. My DNA is not. So I cannot be. So are these people saying, "Well, I know what I feel like a woman"? Well, how do you feel like it is?
Right.
well, when you look at the
Yeah.
way they perform, so when I was talking about Cabin Boy Knits, the drag queen, so bear in mind that's a drag queen rather than somebody who's trans. But the way he was acting, I did imagine you guys. I was thinking, well, Anne doesn't do that. Amy doesn't. You know what I mean? It's like all that sort of silliness that they do.
Like
It's
the
like
three
women
lead
don't do that.
girly girls.
Yeah.
Well, I think
And
that's why
like
people
Dylan
got
Mulvaney, the way
Yeah,
he acts.
he's making a
Right.
mockery of women.
Right.
He's a caricature.
Right.
It's woman face is what they call it, because
Right.
Yeah.
he's pretending to be a girl. He's a 30-something-year-old man
Right.
who's going through girlhood, and if that doesn't
Right.
set off alarms,
And what's funny is he
then I
would
don't know
probably
what.
have been a fabulous super gay actor. I mean, he would have nailed it. He would have been hilarious. But
Well,
now he's tarnished any
he's
little.
been a
Yeah.
fame searcher for years, hasn't he? He's done lots and
Right.
lots of things. One of the things
Right.
he did, there's a band, I say a band, I don't know what you call them, but there's a band in New York that perform in their underwear. Now, they have guest singers on. So it's male and female, and it doesn't matter. And they have to do a session just in their underwear. And he did that. Well, the thing is, it's like if you were so body dysmorphic,
Right.
you wouldn't do
Right.
that.
He would not have stood up right in front of all those
Yeah.
people.
So I
If you
don't
have-
believe that he's
If y'all
really
have not
trans.
read Irreversible Damages by Abigail Shearer, I'd highly suggest
have.
that book. It is a
Ah.
very good book, and I think people are missing the point of why a lot of the girls do it. I don't quite grasp why some of the men.
I think that's the autogynephilia thing. I think it's a
Yeah.
sexual thing.
I think it's because we've been telling boys that being masculine and being boys is wrong. The advantages of
Mm.
men anymore. They're always the one wrong. It's always
Right.
boys' fault.
Yeah.
They see girls get advantages.
Right.
They
But
get treated better. And so I think a lot of them do it because of that, because they get treated better, and they don't want to be this evil, toxic masculinity that they're
Right.
told they shouldn't be.
Well, and also you also have the thing where, I mean, been said many times before, but so you're a young girl, but you don't feel like whatever the stereotypical young girl it is, because it's the pushing for the ultra strict
Right.
gender stereotypes, and then
Right.
saying anything else from that must be different. And
Right.
I wonder how much of it is not necessarily that it's like, oh, you don't want to be a man or you don't want to be a woman, but you want to be anything else. You want to get wherever it is.
Puberty sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Puberty
Yeah,
sucks. And nobody
Every
likes that.
body will create a different person. But
Yeah. Well, Abigail's book talks
Yeah.
about a lot for the women, a lot, the girls a lot, because most of the girls that do this either have had some trauma, they have autism, they have other things going on. But some of the reasons that girls do it is they don't like the way men sexualize them. They don't like the way men victimize them. They don't like the attention. So to transition from a woman to a man would turn the attention away. You won't be a sexual object anymore if you transition.
Well, because boys are going through puberty too then, and they're starting to notice girls. And so,
right.
But it passes. You get through puberty, and then you become yourself, and it moves on. But I think people, they don't teach the way, everybody hates their body going through puberty.
Yeah.
No girl likes who she is. No girl likes the hormonal changes and the physical stuff. Nobody likes that. It's just to everybody. But, it's like an out that they don't have to acknowledge it. And also teenagers love to be in control of situations, and if a teenager can force an adult to treat them a certain way, then they will. And teenagers who can force adults to call them certain ways, treat them certain ways, give them special treatment. Because you see a lot of these celebrity families who have a child and a gay child and a non-binary child. You don't think the first one that came out, the others saw them getting treated better
Right.
and didn't think, well, I need a victimhood too. And plus, it's a lot of it's white girls because they're, white women are ostracized a lot now, and the only way to get out of that is to have a victimhood.
Right. Because
And
being gay isn't a special thing anymore.
Nope.
So,
And if you're lesbian, really, you're trans, according to them. So,
Right. Right. Which that's what boggles my mind the most is the lesbian gay people are like how attacked they're being now. And it's like, look, I'm pretty sure if you're a lesbian, you signed up to be anti-penis. You didn't want that. So that's not what you wanted. So for you to be like, other people to be like, well, no, you have to, even though I look like a girl and I have a penis, well then.
Book Angel. It's like Book Angel saying to you, you need to find him attractive sexually.
Right. Right.
You might find, his outward appearance attractive or not, but when the clothes
what
come
parts
off,
you're signing up for, and so those parts are pretty pivotal.
My nephew evidently is trans and is a lesbian because he has a girlfriend.
Hang on. I'll say this again. Hang on. Let me get my head around this. Say it again.
My nephew has become a woman and has a girlfriend, so he identifies as a lesbian.
Oh.
Okay.
Has he medically transitioned, or is he still?
No,
right. So he still has a penis, as far as you know.
That's incredibly insulting to lesbians. It's like.
But it's okay now because they're the lower of the LGBT group is gays and lesbians now. They don't count anymore because they're not. It blows my mind that gays and lesbians work so hard just to be part of society. Like Blair White said, gay people, they didn't want special treatment just like everybody else.
Right.
But this new generation of LGBTQ wants special treatment.
So I wonder how long before the LGB makes their own.
Well, in the UK, that's happened. There's something called the LGB Alliance, but they're targeted as being transphobic. But all they say is, trans is a separate issue. We're not against it. We're not for it. Whatever. They're just saying it's a different issue completely. Right. But I think the trans thing, what's happening to gay people now will happen to the trans people when the paedophile stuff comes along, because that is coming.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind because we tell the world that we don't care about our children.
Right.
We put them in gun-free zones all day at school, so anyone can walk in and massacre them. We tell them it's okay to screw their bodies up for life at their say-so. For a feeling. We show the world we don't care about our children, and some women kill them before they're born. So they obviously don't care about them, and it's sad to me because they're the most precious thing in the world, and we tell the world we don't really care about them.
Mm-hmm.
We don't try to protect them in any way. Some teachers and states can now get children taken if they identify as something other than what they were born as, and they don't think the parents might go along with it. So then the state can literally take these children out of the home. At a teacher says, just because a kid says, I feel like, I might be pretty today. And there's tomboys, there's girly boys. It's just like kids be kids. Don't let them make life-changing decisions. Can't get a tattoo, but
can't get a
mastectomy. Hey,
buy a gun. I mean, I just do I get to go around to schools and start like trying to convert kids to Christianity? Like, can I do that?
No, because that's persecution.
You
can't identify as a Christian because
kids that learn about Jesus. Why can't I teach them about Jesus?
As an atheist, I recognize that Christians are definitely seen as the worst people in all of this. Like Muslims in this country can go to schools and teach kids how to pray to Allah. But no Christian can go to a school and teach people how to pray to. Well, you don't pray to Jesus, do you? But you pray to God. But whatever. Or do you pray to Jesus? I don't know.
To God in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
3 and 1, all of that.
It's a crazy world we are living in, and it gets crazier every day.
Is.
So I don't know. I'm glad my kids are older and they're not in the school system.
Sorry, Anne, what was that?
That's me saying, hey guys, it is 2.5 hours in.
Wow.
Neil's probably died.
OMG, do you know what time it is now here?
Yeah.
It's 1:15.
Woo!
Oh.
So what time are you on there?
5:15.
7:15
Yeah.
p.m.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't see your dad.
I hear my men chewing down their dinner over there.
Yeah,
Are you starving? Is your stomach rumbling?
Okay, Paul, we're gonna watch Sharknado.
Not until July.
I'm gonna go watch Jaws.
Not until July, though.
I
I can't watch it until July.
That's one of my favorite movies. Before Spielberg had money.
Sharknado.
Jaws. No, Jaws.
Oh, Jaws, yeah.
Oh, Jaws.
He made that.
I was going to say, Sharknado is your favorite.
No, Sharknado.
But have you seen the Jaws? What was it, 4, Paul? 4, where the shark goes at the glass and it's like...
Is that the 3D one?
3
Shark
was, no, that was 3. 3 was 3D. 4 was when the shark followed her to the Caribbean from New York. The first 2 are my favorite because the first one's the only semi-realistic. Second one, when the shark eats the helicopter. Well, it
I think I've only seen the first one.
It
I've
pulls
seen the
the
first 2.
helicopter underwater and eats the pilot, but
I've only seen the first one.
But yeah.
But anyway,
Kendra says, she's watching the hockey game, national anthem playing All Rise. I thought she was telling us,
that's
remember
right.
back in the old day when TV used to go off?
Right.
Yeah, my team's playing. Hopefully they're going to win.
Did you used to get the white dot in the middle of the screen?
Yeah, like you get there, so Anne needs to, y'all need to make some kind of like graphic where it's like the national anthem playing.
We should.
Whose national anthem?
Well, ours,
that would
it's
trigger
duh.
What? So unfair.
It's only treason if you lose, sucker.
We'll get our colony back one day.
Actually, I was just thinking that because it's always in the back of my head. I wonder why the whole thing with Dan Vask saying that anyone can use his music ever. So you could have a Dan Vask metal outro of the national.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go.
You do need to do that. You need to make an outro with his music. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. That would be cool. So
You
Summer of Murder.
Which if you do
planning your podcast.
You can double dip and me and Denise's make along too as well. Y'all can.
Yes, because before we go, we should all go around and say stuff. Which like we haven't been doing it before. But no, that you for Let Them Live, that you wanted more toddler size stuff.
Yes. Big baby and toddler size stuff, make along. And I'm not asking people to donate money. If they do, that's cool. Let me know. But I know, that's an Anne's stomach. She's really hungry. But yes, toddler stuff and older babies. So it's going to run basically over the summer. So if y'all are doing Shark Week or Summer of Murder or whatever, you can double dip all day long. I don't care.
It's a big old party.
It's a big old party. And then message
you
me.
Could do a baby murder knits.
You could do a
jacket.
baby shark murder knits along.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would get them all.
With the little Jaws head coming up on the back.
Isn't that a thing? Baby Shark, the song the kids like.
Yeah.
The baby
Probably
shark
shouldn't tell the mothers the color's called blood splatter, though.
We'll leave that part out.
Well. But anyway,
baby shark knit along. There you go. You can make baby shark hats and so.
Anyway,
When I email the mom, do you like sharks? Just asking.
Because I got 30 of these shark hats I need to get made.
Because I always ask them, I'm like, do you have any color preferences, or do you have a nursery theme, or anything like that? So, do you like sharks by chance?
Got a lot of shark stuff. Just saying. Yeah. Shark Week, July 11th through 18th.
So right.
It's cool.
When do we have to let you know what we're making?
July 11th is fine. Or shortly before. Like, don't, like I said, don't email me now. It's a long way.
Or,
like a whole month and a half.
if you're somebody who has their own podcast or whatever, you could just talk on your podcast and say, I'm planning to make this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Though you do need to email me for your address. That is important.
Do we have to publicly state what we're making, or just tell you?
Publicly state somehow, I think.
Yeah, you gotta.
So Instagram, something, I don't know.
I'll be the one checking your work for the prize, but it's like a group thing. It's a party.
It's a group project. Great, I loved those.
Oh, is it a bit like during the pandemic when we were spying on each other, seeing who had friends round and who wasn't wearing a mask? It's like, oh no, Amy, I know Amy didn't cast on that date. She casted on 2 days earlier.
Oh,
timestamps on the photos.
Group projects is alone. I'm just saying.
But yes,
doesn't your phone timestamp like of the picture? Look, promise. The newspaper, the missing person.
Today's newspaper. Yeah, you find one.
Everybody's taking out ads in the Epic Times.
That you have like a live news feed going behind you. Like, look.
Yeah.
What time did you say on the 11th is the cast on time?
Now we got to accommodate for you foreigners.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's probably 4 a.m.
I did. Okay, so I did say that it ends at 12 Eastern for the 18th.
Midnight.
So I guess it goes from, I would also put it at 12 a.m. being the start, anytime going on.
So can
12
those of
a.m.
us who live abroad, can we do 12 a.m. in our time to 12 a.m.?
Oh, now you're getting complicated.
Because then I can start at 9 o'clock. If it's Eastern, I can start at 9 p.m.
Neil, you need to adjust for American time.
So that means we lose hours, doesn't it?
Most people know Eastern. So it is, you start on the dot, 12:01.
Which is going to be 5 a.m. No. Is it 3 hours or 5 hours? Oh, no, it's 3 hours. So it'll be 3 a.m.
Look, get you one of those little world clock apps. You'll be all right. Just,
I'm just saying, I'm making out because since I'm 3 hours earlier, if it's midnight, I've got 9 p.m. So, I still got those 3 hours to knit when y'all people are sleeping.
Yeah.
It also ends earlier for Liz, though.
Yeah, true. But I get that 3 hour jump at the beginning. So it's, it's like a jet lag.
Somebody says do UTC time like all the video game launches. I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Yeah, what is that? What's UTC?
What's UTC time? That's
Universal time.
It's a magical time that doesn't exist.
Oh, Lord.
Well, that's until we got to find out what it is.
I'll have to put some stuff aside and.
Yes, Morgan will talk about it on her podcast. She made another episode, which I'm still behind on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was the first viewer. I saw it when nobody else had.
I was the second sub, I think.
I was like your third sub. I still have to watch the most recent one, though, because I haven't.
And for socks, is 2 at a time acceptable?
It is acceptable.
Oh, it's universal. It's Greenwich.
Yes,
time.
I agree with the W. Yes, UTC.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, but you're not in America, so you don't get to make the rules. Anne does.
But we're British and we rule the world.
Already agreed.
Excuse me. You lost that empire. Sorry.
Anne's plan is
But
already
we have a king.
It's already bursted into flames.
Yeah, we fought a war not to have one. Sorry. So we do have Prince Harry. Could you take him back?
Who?
Prince. We have Prince Harry. Can you take him back?
Well, we'd take him back, but we're not having her. You're keeping her, but we'll have Harry back.
Poor Anne. She's like, what have I done?
See now,
Uh,
if DK was here, she'd have had us finished 40 minutes ago. She'd have stuck to it.
true. That is a
Okay.
problem. That
Yes, Anne. What would? Okay, Anne would like us.
It's like
to
with the
go.
kids when mum's away.
Yeah, well,
No,
mine
but
are going to want food.
anyway, Shark Week can't start with English time because it is an American celebration. It's American as apple pie, Hawaiian shirts, and pink long flamingos. So, and technically for the hashtag, it's called Shark Challenge, not to step on anyone's toes or anything. But
Okay. So
Yes,
this
ma'am.
could be interesting.
Some of the
Look up all the
comments here are
documentaries
brilliant.
where people died of shark attack and see how much. There was an Australian, actually, there is an Australian documentary about a guy in Australia who died, who was thrown overboard to be eaten by sharks. And they found him because the tiger shark was captured by this guy who owned an aquarium. And they put the tiger shark in the aquarium to bring in viewers. And the tiger shark spit out his arm.
Oh.
And they found out the shark had eaten this guy, dumped in the ocean for killing somebody. So that technically is true crime. And the shark was involved.
this is the type of quality Shark Week content we need to really, bring out.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, geez. Sorry.
Shark Week, it's a thing. So, like, comment, subscribe, check out our shows. Neil,
Anne.
what do you got?
Who?
What do you got, Neil? Come on, we gotta wrap it up.
Oh,
What do you
wrap
got?
it up.
Yeah,
Block
outro.
Magazine will be out probably on the 15th of June, hopefully.
Cool.
7 patterns, Shark Week information. Can't think anything else. Read it, don't miss it.
There we go. You're doing a show with Tabitha. Cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Tabitha, 2nd of June, doing a show with Tabitha. It's already booked in so that neither of us can drop out.
And it's Tiger King, right?
Tiger King, yeah, which
That's why
I've still
I gotta
got
go
to watch
rewatch it.
all of.
That's why I gotta
Sorry,
go-
yeah. Oh, so what was that? What did Amy say?
That's why I got to go rewatch it, so I'm prepared.
Ah,
for the
yes.
episode.
I know.
Right.
So,
All right, Amy, what you got?
I'm pro-life knitter on Instagram, raising hell and saving babies. And Denise and I have a podcast, Two Scissors and Some Yarn. And I am ready for Shark Week. I have my yarn wound up. I'm ready.
All right, what do you got?
well, I have the murder. That's part of the Summer of Murder Knit Along. If any of you follow Tabitha, you can get all the details from her. I guess I'm doing Shark Week Knit Along now, so I'll have to plan for that. And then Joe and Therese and I are starting the Knit Night podcast, which should hopefully be out sometime this week on YouTube. So we will.
Cool.
Hopefully that'll work out. And that's about it right now. So.
Alrighty. Well, we'll see you all later then. So poor Neil can get some sleep.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.
Let Neil. Bye.